Of all the things I've had to picture you do naked, now I have to picture a four-chambered ball sack there, too.
Hold on. 7 severed scrotums. You ever held 7
severed scrotums?
That's showbiz, baby.
That's Hollywood getting busy.
Have you ever been under a blanket?
Yeah.
That's just a butthole?
No.
Okay. Different lives.
Come on, it's lovely weather for Dapper Dad's Christmas with you. There's gonna be beers for drinking and lots of other things too. Come on, it's lovely weather for a Dapper Christmas with you.
Ooh. Welcome, folks. Episode 72, the Christmas Spectacular.
As is expected this time of year, I am so burned out on goddamn Christmas shit. I just want it to be over with.
No, you gotta wait. I have my cookies and milk have been sitting out for 7 days.
The milk is starting to turn, from what I hear. Your cats are very mad about it. The milk came out curdled?
Yeah, I actually was going to make some hot cocoa. 'Tis the season. And I had some milk that had expired the day before.
Aww.
And I was like, whatever.
No.
And so I poured it into a cup, and it came out chunkier than I've seen in a long time.
That's no bueno.
No, but I had another thing of milk, and I got my hot cocoa. But I did think a lot about it. You know, when something's spoiled and you have a replacement, but you're still like, ugh. It's been brought to my attention that this is gross.
Yeah, I went on a weird escapade last Saturday where I had a thing of Nutter Butters in the car, and I ate 7 of them, and every time I ate 7, I went, nah.
Well, I really wish we hadn't brought it up on this episode. It's not Nutter Butters.
What is it?
What the fuck is it? What's the long brown treat that you can buy in a package? What are those? You know what I mean? The long bars.
Oh, like the chocolate-covered peanut butter
What
things?
the fuck are those?
I forget what they call
Nutter
those.
Butters look like peanuts, right?
Yeah, I was eating Nutter Butters.
Yeah, I thought it was Nutter Butters. I swear they said Nutter Butters. But what are those?
They're like peanut butter something, because it's peanut butter and like wafer cookie with chocolate on it.
Yeah, whatever the hell those are, that's what he was eating. So everything's wrong. Let's just throw the podcast
Awful
away.
year. Yeah, this is over.
I don't know what to tell you guys. Go to www.thedapperdads.com.
For the archives.
12 W's. Yeah, that is how you unlock some things, like a deep conspiracy dive into Nutter Butters and the other product that we're unfamiliar with.
Someone tell us what those things are,
Yeah,
because how do I look?
those?
I know it's a Little Debbie snack.
Yeah, it is for sure, because they're always at corner stores. That's what I've been picturing the whole time, and then I randomly, unaffiliated, came across some Nutter Butters online, a picture of them, and I was like, oh no, everything's wrong. It ruined 3 days out of the last week.
Yeah.
Not consecutive. dapperdadspodcast at gmail.com if you want to send us pictures of whatever the fuck we're talking about. 402-7-DAPPER. That's 402-732-7737. Call and leave us a voicemail. We have one. Leave us a text. We might respond.
It is juicy and weird.
It is very fulfilling. We'll get into it shortly here. Go to patreon.com/dapperdads. If you folks who are already subscribed know that we just dropped a hot steaming pile of things we can't typically talk about.
Yeah.
So if you want more of what you hear here, but a little bit more unfiltered, believe it or not.
Yeah, somehow we get more unfiltered. Like something about knowing that it's Patreon. Just
open up.
It's like a gate opens in my mind and is like, here's the bullshit.
We've been saying forever we just needed money from you guys, and I think you know now that it only takes $5 a month to
really just us to become unhinged.
It out there.
Imagine what $10 a month could do.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, and you can pledge more, and maybe things will happen. We are in Ripley's Believe It or Not for most shocking podcast based off the things we've said on Patreon, allegedly. Follow
Certificates
us.
yet to come in the mail.
Yeah, they don't print them out as much
It's a
anymore.
digital thing these days. I hate it.
You don't get those hologram covered books anymore. When was the last time you seen a Ripley's book?
Probably the last time I went to a Scholastic book fair, to be honest with you.
Yeah, so like 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, I love them book fairs.
Yeah, but you either got to get there early or right at the end. You're coming in at peak Scholastic book fair times, and it is
stupid busy.
Too many children, and it just doesn't mesh well with your public persona.
No,
because you're drinking beers.
I'm always drinking beers.
I know. What, with kids? Anyway,
well, I'm gonna have kids someday, and I'm gonna have to drink beers around them.
Well, if it's your kid, you can drink beers around them. Give them beers when.
Yeah. What if it's my kid's birthday? I can't have beer at my kid's birthday.
No, you give them the beer their birthday.
Well, duh.
Once
of course,
they're over 7. When they're little, you give them hard liquor to get them to go to sleep.
Rub it on their gums. Get them to have a good taste for it.
Rub it all over their soft, supple little heads.
Pour it on their bodies while they're asleep.
They have much more absorbent pores, so really
they
get
get
it in there.
super drunk.
Yeah. You give them a humidifier full of gin. That's what my parents did.
Yeah, really clears out the sinuses, or vice versa, gives you sinus problems.
It clears them out for a while, then it really gums up the right one. And if you ever get the chance, if you're like a short person, or I'm just leaning back, you can look right up my nose. The right one has a huge red obstruction. That's just
Show
my
me
life.
sometime.
Oh, I will. I'm surprised you haven't seen it. It's called a deviated septum.
Haven't looked up your nose that much, to be honest with
Interesting. I constantly look up yours.
you. I am always trying to look at your dick, so I'm always looking down.
We're always looking right past each other, huh?
Just catch her in the rye shit.
Yes, catch her in the eye. Follow us on Twitter at dapperdad's, where we'll post pictures of our nose and penises, maybe. Or maybe that's over at Instagram at dapperdadspodcast. More of a picture format platform. Who fucking knows? Go fucking follow both of
There's
them.
dicks everywhere. That's all we're about.
If you're, it's surprising that none of our nudes have leaked on purpose.
Same. I know they're out there.
Yeah, they're afoot.
They're in a cloud somewhere.
I think I've only taken 3 dick pics in my life, to be completely honest.
I had, when I was engaged, my fiance accidentally showed one of her friends a picture of my dick.
That doesn't sound accidental
She took a picture of it while I was asleep.
Well, that's illegal.
Yeah.
You want to press charges?
I absolutely do.
All right. Well, I'll get you in touch with you.
All right. Where's the lawyer, dog?
What
do you mean he's on vacation?
It's the holiday season.
This is when I need him the most.
Yeah, we do get into way more shenanigans, but,
Violent, illegal shenanigans.
You got to keep him happy. I one time took a picture of just my ball sack, and I accidentally uploaded it to my Snapchat story briefly.
Tasteful.
Because what I was trying to do was get just the ball sack and put the purple pickle emoji over it real big. So I thought it would be very funny. And I was going to send it to someone who could see my penis. Instead, I uploaded it to my story and frantically had to figure out how to delete it. I don't think anyone saw it, but if a picture of my ball sack circulates, there's the story. It was nothing foul. I only
just
sent
your ball sack.
If something has to leak, I don't think anyone's going to be like, what a bunch of weird looking balls. Because there is 4. So it is
of all the things I've had to picture you do naked, now I have to picture a 4-chambered ball sack there,
Yeah,
too.
it's like the balls that click back and forth.
Oh, so they're
clink,
all in a row.
Clink, yeah.
That's even more upsetting.
Yeah, but they're not.
Got some weird seashell-shaped ball sack with these 4
I never
balls
said
in them.
that.
Well, that's what's implied if they're all next to each other, because then it has to come back to your body.
Jesus Christ, fix that. I'm talking about, what are those balls that doctors have that clink and then they go through them?
Magnetic.
Yeah.
Energy. This thing, we need new mics.
Yeah, so buy the Patreon or buy some merch or just don't buy anything and don't expect a lot from us, I guess is what we can say. We can officially say now, if the episodes suck, pay for the Patreon. Those episodes don't suck.
Yeah, so you can finally pay for the good shit.
Yeah. But it is the holiday season. We actually have a gift.
Yes, so this is worth watching for the video.
Yes.
We received a present from some humongous fans of ours. Depending on how this goes, this could put them into top fan territory, I believe.
Yeah, they're up there already. Do we say their names or?
Yeah, let's go ahead and just say
it's on the box.
It's on the box. So this is to DD. I assume that's Dapper Dads.
Yes, hopefully.
From Ted and Jill. So thank you very much, Ted and Jill. Fantastic
big
friends of mine.
long-time supporters.
Huge supporters.
Great people.
It's wrapped very, very well. And there's a card on top that says, read after opening. P.S. Don't make fun of the box. All I had.
Okay, I'm intrigued already.
So
yes, this is the first wrapped gift we've received from someone.
Yeah, well, this is the first gift we've ever received where we don't know what it is. Like, we literally, what do you think's inside? Because give this box a feel.
Yeah, it's pretty heavy.
These are the instructions I was told with the box. This is how Hellraiser starts.
Yeah, I hope it's something like that.
I hope we go to hell when we open the box.
I mean, I'm already there.
So I was told that I need to be careful with the box transporting it here because what's inside is fragile. Also, not to make fun of the box.
Babies?
If 4 babies weighing this much, those are some preemie babies.
I weighed 11.7 pounds.
I was a preemie. I weighed 6 or 7 pounds.
It's weird. You think I would be the bigger one with how large I was when I was born?
Yeah, and I am towering over you. You tower me with your age, and I tower you with my might.
That is true, but yeah, I don't know. I know I was in contact with Ted. He requested our logo in very specific form, transparent background PNG file. I'm very fond of when people ask for top-notch
if you
quality,
want to talk technical specs, that's the guy to go to right there.
And it was for once not someone asking us how we make our podcast sound so good in that technical form. Someone wanted a real crisp file, and I was happy to oblige. So I know it. I would assume it has our logo on it. I
Yeah.
would be surprised if it didn't.
I
kind of wish it didn't. So then it's just he just has that.
I have a theory about what part of it could involve or how it was made, but I feel like that will give it away of what it actually is, just because I know of some things he has around his place.
Okay. Yeah, don't spoil it.
Yeah.
I'd say glass if we're being real.
Yeah.
If it's delicate. If we can't shake it.
Yeah.
Glass or babies are the only two things.
I was told that there is 4 of them in
Okay.
here. Whatever this is, there is 4 of them in here. And the way we could do this is we could do 2 for each of us, or we could do 1 for each of us and give away 2 as a giveaway. So depending on, let's be real, depending on how much we love this, there's a chance we might not give them. I'm probably going to keep them both, to be honest with you. So, I
hope it's testicles in mason jars.
I hope
that seems delicate.
It's got to be, that's very dad-like. I'm picturing like penis and testicles in mason jars.
I don't want to have to look at dicks.
I don't want to have to look. You want to look at balls, but not dicks?
Yeah,
Explains a lot.
I just said balls are fine, like 5 minutes ago.
Yeah.
I hope there's 7 balls, though. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
4 nut sacks, 7 balls. That makes sense with the weight.
7 balls.
You ever held 7 severed ball sacks?
No, have you?
7 severed scrotums. You ever held 7
severed scrotums?
Say that 7 times fast.
Yeah.
Not you.
Call and do that in a voicemail.
Yeah, call. So we want to get into this? Do we unwrap it together?
Yeah, of course we unwrap it together.
Oh. It's very exciting.
Remember, don't make fun of the box.
This looks familiar.
You ready?
I don't know.
Okay.
This is
so we're gonna have
to
we're gonna have to describe this for the people who aren't watching.
Just won't fucking watch the video.
So we've opened up the box and there is red and yellow on brand tissue paper.
That is.
So that is a great place to start.
Excited. All right.
Okay, these things are wrapped in.
I think I get the gist.
Okay. Okay. Wow.
These are beautiful. What we have unwrapped here are some beer mugs with the Dapper Dad's font.
Yeah, this is not what I was expecting at all.
This is gorgeous.
This is...
Yeah, no one's getting any of these.
No, I'm displaying one of these in my house and exclusively drinking out of the other in my house.
Yeah, I was just saying I need more glasses in my house. And
these are... We're going to be posting some pictures of these because these are exquisite. Wow. You know what? I'm going to go out on a limb and say the only people who are allowed to drink from these 4 mugs are the Dad Squad.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's a given.
These are...
This will be great because we're going to be doing a lot of drinking of alcoholic beverages tomorrow, and I found my party glass. Yeah, let's make sure we don't. It would be on brand if we accidentally broke one, but I hope it doesn't happen. Wow, ladies and gentlemen, the bar has been
officially raised. These are exquisite too. Look at these.
I know.
The Dapper Dads.
Wow. Holy shit, I almost broke the mic, which at this point, fuck it. I don't know if anyone's ever given me such a meaningful gift.
Yeah, this is literally like I'm kind of speechless a little bit because like
it's not what I was expecting.
No, this is. I don't know what I was expecting, but it certainly wasn't on brand.
I thought it
mugs.
would be glass, but then seeing it really changes everything.
Wait, it's not over yet. We have the card to open.
Yes. Let's hear all about it.
God, thank you guys so much.
Definitely,
oh my God.
Definitely the #1 fan. Sorry, everyone.
To our favorite dads, for all the laughs and hard work you put in, Jill and I wanted to give you something special to enjoy some cheap beer in. These mugs are hand-etched with your logo, well, most of it anyway. The mouths had too much detail to make work properly. Hope you enjoy. Looking forward to what you have planned for the new year. Stay frosty, my friends. P.S. They are clean and ready to use right now if you so desire. Ted and Jill.
Beautiful. Thank you, guys. That is the best thing we've ever received.
Literally, this is better than like any sponsor we've gotten this year or anything. This is incredible.
Yeah, all the sponsors we got. Yeah.
Wow. Sure. Thank you guys so much. This is so special.
It is also funny because I've had to have some things mocked up with the logo, and that mouth is a nightmare. I've been told by countless companies and people and myself.
Wow.
I'm gonna go ahead and I got a little bit of unidentified sparkling grape juice. We're gonna go ahead and dump it in there.
You know what? We got some of that Welch's sparkling rosé that's been sitting in the corner. I'm gonna.
I wouldn't recommend doing that.
I'm gonna do it anyway.
You got it with fucking mugs like this. I have an unsatisfying amount of liquid, but you know what? It's such a gorgeous fucking mug.
Oh, it even sounds good when you pour into it.
Yeah, I usually have a weird thing about the sound of things pouring, but in such a beautiful mug, I mean...
it's so fucking exquisite.
Yeah. This is nice. I can't wait to rub this into people's faces who say I waste every week of my life.
Yeah, to anybody who ever said this is a bunch of bullshit, go fuck yourself.
What if we clinked them and they just shatter?
Cheap glasses. No, guys, thank you so much.
Yes.
Ted actually said that he wanted me to give him a call as soon as we were done with the episode where we opened them, so we got to give him a call after this.
Oh, hell yeah. Yes, thank you very much. That's going to be hard to top, folks. So,
yeah, if you think you can beat hand-branded etched mugs,
I'd like to
fucking see it. So see if you
Annie
can
up.
Annie up with a Dapper Dad's mug, motherfuckers.
Beautiful.
Oh, wow.
I know. Yeah, we should have waited to open it because now I'm just like, this is.
I was told we could use them on the show. I was given instructions and I follow instructions well.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. It's just hard to come back from that.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? It makes everything we've ever done look like shit.
Yeah, kind of, sort of. I don't even know how I give a better gift than this.
Yeah, you don't. You
The
just
Dapper
accept.
Dads. Wow.
All right, beautiful. Thank you guys very much. Yeah, like we said, now we want to see someone try to top that shit.
Yeah.
Who's gonna top that shit? Yeah, I don't even know where to go. We're gonna talk about Christmas a little bit. This is the albums of the year episode.
Yes, so for those of you that aren't really too into the whole music thing, if you're recently hopping in with the brand and haven't gone through the back catalog, at the end of the year we always do a year-end wrap-up and we do our albums of the year. So we're going to do a little bit of show here just to get some of the normal
just to
things
satisfy the people.
Yeah, because we get it.
they
No, people aren't
think
always
they
going to want to hear our opinions about music, so...
But you like our opinions about everything else.
Yeah, and if you feel like you have an open mind and you're looking forward, you want some new music to listen to, we got some great recommendations coming up. We're also going to be putting out our Songs of the Year playlist at some point.
We're not making an episode about Songs of the Year because we can even understand that one's hard to get into.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll have a playlist out there probably around the time this drops. When you're hearing it, keep an eye out. It's out there somewhere. A lot of good music this year. But yeah, Christmas. Did we talk last year about favorite Christmas movies?
I feel like we did.
I'd imagine so. But I've been on a kick.
Yeah.
Because I like to get into it. We recently kind of watched Grandma Got Ran Over by a Reindeer.
And it was
top notch.
With top notch, and especially with our friend group commentary, that is the only way to watch Grandma Got Run Over by a Reindeer.
Because it is it's a ridiculous song, but by far a much more ridiculous movie.
Yeah, the fact that somebody heard the song, or did they it was a song first and then they made it into a movie, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
The fact someone heard the song and thought, I can stretch this into a 90-minute kids movie, which involves a toy store and weird scenes, dream sequences with a grandpa, and a court case involving Santa Claus.
Yeah,
and a fruitcake.
The details are sketchy, even if you.
That one cop just looks drunk.
Yeah, the one cop's fucked up, and then like the aunt is like kind of trying to fuck the grandpa.
Yeah, but she's also like an attractive redhead.
Yeah.
Always showing too much. Does she have an ascot on the whole time?
I believe so.
Yeah, I think an ascot is a mark of pure
breasts.
evil. Yeah, huge heaving cartoon breast, almost comically anime style.
And there's a lot of plot holes. Like grandma walks down the street, but then when they find her the next day, which they just find her dead body, which I don't remember.
Yeah, but then like the body's like this, but she's not dead. She got like knocked out, or because we were watching it with the sound off. I believe.
Yeah, we were guessing, but I mean, like I said, I feel like even if you watch it, there's still a lot of questions.
Yeah,
I usually do watch it every year. It's
more questions than answers.
Yeah, more than the song. The song kind of left it at Grandma's dead, and we're just fine with that.
Yeah,
you know.
Maybe Grandma had a really bad degenerative disease and was just starting to throw things around the house, and maybe it was a real taking of Deborah Logan style situation where she was.
Of course, she ate a child.
Yeah, she ate a whole child that she transformed into a snake person.
Maybe Grandma was a little bit racist, and everyone was just fed up with her shit. So.
Maybe Grandma was kind of vindictive. Did some really bad shit to Mom when she was growing up.
Yes.
The family never really forgave her.
Maybe Grandma was just great, and everyone was just like, it's your time. You're old.
Yeah, maybe she had the appropriate amount of love in her life, and everyone realized that death is natural, and it happens to everyone.
All encompassing. What was I just watching? Frosty 2. If we talked about Christmas movies last time, I know I brought up Frosty 2.
Yeah.
Because
with John Goodman?
John Goodman voices Frosty, and I just want to know how much money he was paid.
Yeah, we did talk about this because I wanted
to
know how much money he made for that TV show where he talked about the food.
Well, no one cares about that. I'm talking
I care
about
it because I care about it because I watched the whole show that they put out on the Food Network, and for the first 3 episodes, he's really tame. Like, he's just kind of John Goodman talking, but then after that, he's like hog wild with like the Southern colloquialisms.
They probably told him amp it up.
Yeah, and he's literally like, "We got rip roaring beefy cheese coming at you hot," and I'm like, "This is the John Goodman I want to hear."
Did you know that Guy Fieri's whole like stick
persona
is just because like they told him to wear a button shirt and he didn't own any other button shirts besides like the flaming one, which was a joke, but they said you have to wear a button shirt, so he wore that, and then they were like, perfect, now buy like 50 of those, and never stop wearing them. And the sunglasses were because he just walked in and got like flustered and put them behind his head, so everything he's done is just like yeah, perfect,
keep doing that,
which is what I want us to get to, just accidentally stumble into a whole lucrative career where
just based off of stumblings.
Yeah, just fuck ups. Yeah, just fuck ups.
Isn't that what this is anyway?
Well, I mean, it hasn't really panned out in like a Guy Fieri-esque way yet, but I would like it to. I'd like to eat food professionally, and
I would also like to eat food professionally.
I've been to a couple of the places he's been to. I don't want to flex too hard, but you know,
he's been to that vegan butcher shop that I go to every time in Minneapolis.
Well, fuck you. He's been to, I don't know, places. He has a fucking restaurant. We got to go to his restaurant. I want to meet him.
I want to meet him too. I want to meet him through this.
I'd like to meet him through this. I was going to say something offensive, but if we're going to meet him through this, I'll hold my tongue until I see him in person.
That's fair. I'm also saving all my slurs for Guy Fieri.
Yeah, basically all the celebrities, we'd love to meet you, and then maybe we get a little drunk and we talk a little bit of shit to your face. How great would it be if Guy Fieri just sucker punched you in the face because you were running your mouth?
And I feel like the only way I could have that happen to me is if I was given a Kurd-style black eye that lasted forever and I get fired from my job where I can't have a black eye.
Well, was that in the paperwork?
I definitely feel like I would have to take a leave if I got a black eye.
Yeah.
My appearance is very important at my job.
Just wear an eye patch.
Not a bad idea.
Yeah, see?
Bow tie and eye patch?
Yeah. Just real asshole.
Yeah.
I would like to think if we're meeting Guy Fieri that this has taken off enough to where we don't have jobs.
Yeah,
because I don't have one.
No.
So it would be nice to make the money.
At that point, yeah, I'd let him give me a black eye, and I'd do public appearances with it, and I'd be like, Guy Fieri gave me this black eye.
Well, I don't think you should go in like that. I just picture you getting drunk and like you probably like poke his nose lightly, and you're just like, why don't you go eat some roast beef? And then he just sucker punches you.
I hope so.
Or we tell him
that's one of my goals for 2019.
Or we keep telling him to call Drake because he is friends with Drake.
Yeah, and then we can
put
talk
us on the phone with Drake.
We want to talk some shit to Drake. We know you killed X.
Yeah, make some bold claims.
Really bold claims.
It's like, this is a wild ting.
Who's next, yay?
Oh, yeah, we can't get into that.
He's like, Skepta said I can say ting, and this is a wild ting.
What other Christmas shit is there? I don't know what we talked about last
Christmas Vacation?
Yeah, I don't mean movies. Do we want to get into movies? Did we talk about? See, we don't remember.
We're doing albums. We don't need to get into movies.
Well, yeah, I mean, if you want to run down, my favorite Christmas movie is A Year Without Santa Claus. Heat Miser, Snow Miser. I ride and die for Snow Miser.
What is that one guy's name? Yukon?
Yeah, you're thinking of Rudolph.
Is that Rudolph?
Yeah,
that like animation all blends together in my mind.
I mean, it was the fad back then. Yeah, you don't see things made like that.
Cornelius Yukon.
Yeah. And
that's my guy. He had that strap on him.
Well, he was just
shooting at the
loud and abrasive. So
yeah, like me.
Of course, it's your guy. I'm more of the.
I believe my
the feminine elf.
I mean, no fucking kidding. At least it finally came out of your mouth and not
an elf.
This is what's wrong with you, drama.
See, you're that fucking dick.
I'm the evil boss with the goatee.
Yeah, but in the end, your heart warms and I fix your fucked up teeth.
Yeah, but
you know what we do?
I'd rather be Cornelius Yukon and have that strap on me and try to kill a Yeti.
Yeah, that you don't live long like that. Oh god damn it. Yeah, what other? I don't know what else to talk about with Christmas.
Yeah, I don't know.
Do we talk about Christ himself?
No, because we're better than Jesus. In fact, it was the name of our third album.
Maybe the boldest statement ever made.
Did you guys say you were screw up like the Beatles and say you were bigger than Jesus all the time?
Yeah, right off the bat. It's crazy how now you can say that and people are like, sure.
Yeah, whatever.
Back in the day, things were so... You couldn't just say what you wanted. Yeah,
Can you imagine this in the 60s?
Do you think the Beatles were bigger than Jesus?
For a little bit there, yeah.
At the time they said it?
Yeah, at the time John Lennon said it, yeah, they were definitely bigger than Jesus.
But I mean, John Lennon got smoked. John Lettuce
got smoked.
John Lettuce got smoked.
Yeah, devil's lettuce.
That guy that killed John Lennon was fucking crazy.
Yeah, Mark David Chapman.
Yeah.
You ever see that movie where Jared Leto gained all the weight to play him?
No.
Not a bad movie. Has Lindsay Lohan in it though. Is like one of the only
as
other
John Lennon,
yeah.
of course.
No, but Jared Leto plays Mark David Chapman, and he he didn't get a fat suit because he's like a method actor, you know.
Yeah.
And I remember I saw him on Conan back in the day, and he said one of the ways he did it is he would go to dinner at McDonald's every night, 2 Big Macs, 2 Quarter Pounders, 2 large fries. And then he would drink melted ice cream for the drink.
That gave me chills.
Yeah. And then he was so fat.
You have to order that specifically?
He was so fat that he had to sit in a wheelchair in between takes because he was so out of breath.
Man, I can't wait to was the guy who killed John Lennon was that fat?
Yeah, he was a big fat guy.
I remember seeing a picture of him, like a headshot.
I'll pull up a headshot for you.
Why don't you pull up John Lennon's headshot? Boom, boom, boom.
Oh, Jesus. It could have been you. Boom,
yeah. Well, he fucking... Yeah, that's what was crazy, because he, like, met that dude and, like, signed his shit and was like, do you need anything else? Oh, yeah, I guess he is a little tubby.
Yeah,
but see, you don't get to see that body.
Yeah.
I bet he's got a fat hog.
Probably a tiny little pecker.
You think so?
Yeah, I think it's like a
I feel like if you kill a man, your dick grows a little bit at least, right?
You at least have an erection for the next 40 years of your life from the adrenaline.
You gotta.
Killing John Lennon?
Yeah.
A Beatle?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Like I don't care about the Beatles whatsoever, but killing John Lennon is like top notch. Not like in like a fun way or cool way.
There we go.
But like that's a big thing to do. You know what I mean? If you're gonna kill somebody.
Bold.
Bold. Very bold.
Spicy.
Should have killed Paul McCartney.
I like Paul McCartney.
Yeah, he's the best Beatle.
Yeah.
I can tolerate Wings more than the Beatles.
Wings was fucking fantastic.
They were fine.
I liked Wings.
The TV show, right?
Yeah, of
when
course.
Paul McCartney was
on Wings, yeah.
TV show. That was one of my dad's favorite shows.
Band on the Run.
Yeah, that episode.
Band
with Monk.
on the Run.
What do you think the people from the TV show Wings are up to nowadays? I hope they're doing good.
I hope they're not eating banquet dinners, but I feel like they're eating banquet dinners.
That one, I think the main guy. It's got to be. You don't see him.
No, he's got to be eating takeout every night. Once a week.
Yeah, I was going to say, takeout.
It's a treat.
Yeah, it's the only treat he has.
His takeout.
Yeah.
And takeoff.
Yeah, he listens to
Takeoff delivers his takeout.
Oh, everyone's fallen from grace.
Yeah.
And Mark David Chapman is
it's still in prison.
Still in prison. That was his
life.
His one little treat was murdering John Lennon. You only get one of those.
Yeah, you do only get to do something.
Or 52. It's usually just one or a whole bunch.
Yeah.
Like that one guy who's a cop that they just found.
Oh, yeah.
He's just been killing all kinds of people.
Yeah. What was it, like 190 people he said he killed?
I don't know. They always get bold. But I mean, even if you killed like 12 people, I feel like you got to beef it up.
That's a lot. Yeah, you say 12, it was 25, you know?
Yeah, it's like when you talk about all your sexual partners. So me, for instance, I've had sex with 4 women. So
yeah, I've had sex with
beefing it up
3?
Yeah, and a half.
And a half.
Yeah.
Always the half.
I was there for 2 of them. And a half.
And just, yeah, mostly the half.
Yeah, well,
you were there for more than half of it.
Yeah, I took up most of the room in the bed because there was only a half of that woman.
Yeah,
as a kid,
You wanted those real close angles.
As a kid, I was haunted by half of a woman who would appear over my bed, but it was always the bottom half. I tweeted that, and it came up on my time hop recently, and that's one of those where I'm like, did I think this up?
Or did my
crazy
happen?
Brain? No, or is this like, did I watch something and I was like, that's funny, I'm gonna tweet that? Because a lot of my Twitter is Simpsons jokes, references, and then just insanity, and then sometimes maybe like a joke from another TV show, and then they blur, and I'm like, did I come up with that ghost woman over my bed, but it was the lower half? Or like that one of my famous...
What if I still have a ghost woman that haunts me at night?
That's just your ex.
Oh, yeah, because I cut her in half.
We're going to have to edit that out.
Bitch said I was...
Old Mark David Chapman over here.
Bitch said I was faster than a speeding bullet, so I ripped her in half like a phone book.
Ooh, I don't know if we can say that.
And just make a long beep.
I have yeah, we're not beeping things out anymore.
Yeah, no, I guess you're right.
So,
2019 is a no beep zone.
oh, that's not going to go good.
Yeah, it's not going to go good at all.
2019, the year we got canceled, even though we're not under any...
type of contractual obligation from a record label?
Well, yeah, not from any
Except for the
label
blood oath that we took.
source. Yeah, we are under a contractual
We're also under an
obligation.
extreme amount of pressure.
Oh, are you telling me?
Yeah.
It feels like you're telling me.
Yeah, I am telling you.
Interesting.
Is this not your first rodeo? Is this your second rodeo?
This is my 72nd rodeo.
72nd rodeo.
But there are a few things in between there. We'll chalk it up to 80 at this point.
Yeah, because you got to fluff the numbers.
Well, we'll say it no, just because if there's other episodes, and then we'll make it an even 100 with all the video footage and the pictures and the crying while masturbating.
Yeah, well, that's just a given in this industry.
That's showbiz, baby.
That's Hollywood getting busy.
Oh God, yeah, I don't know what this is anymore. You know what I mean?
It just keeps going. It spirals out of control. I feel like we've lost the reins on this, to be 100% honest with you. It runs us.
Yeah, and maybe for the better.
Possibly.
It's
Someone needed to take control.
hard to
Lawyer Dog fell off the wagon when he started bringing that flask into work.
Yeah, well then he was just knocking up all the neighborhood dogs.
And we can't keep paying for that guy's child support.
No,
all those puppies.
So many puppies.
All the
and
bellies.
They're adorable.
The cutest little puppies.
But I mean, who wants a puppy?
This isn't a baby.
Yeah,
who wants a baby? This isn't a baby. It's a puppy. I see you really know your babies.
That's Treehouse of Horror.
Yeah. Baby, who wants a
20
baby?
minutes of this.
Yeah, because that's all I'm gonna think as I'm falling asleep tonight is babies.
Because
Who wants a baby?
I'll be in the other
whispering
room.
in my ear. Sendo singing it so loudly, like babies. Who wants a baby?
I'm in an adjoining apartment, and you just hear it, and you're like, "Is that?" And then you hear a woman like, "Get the fuck out!" And I'm like, "I see you know, baby." Then she maces me. And it's like that Amazon factory.
Yeah, but then, oh God. But then she sees you over at my place tomorrow and she pepper sprays you again when you're very drunk.
But I'm so drunk that I just affected whatsoever.
You're very drunk. You wander into the house again. Who wants a baby?
And then she's finally, it's like all women. At first, I'm repulsive, offensive, loud, obnoxious.
And then she falls in love with you.
And then she falls in love with me and I can't get her way.
Leaves her husband?
Yeah, well, he tries to kill me, but I'm so drunk.
Big guy.
Huge guy.
Yeah.
It's too big to kill me, is what I thought as a drunk person. I'm like,
couldn't
he's
get his
too
arms
big.
close enough together to squeeze my head like a watermelon.
It's like when you see a bouncer and they're just real fat. And you're like, well, that isn't a qualifier. I can beat the shit out of you.
But then it turns out that guy can pick up whole human beings and carry them out of the bar.
You're telling me. That's how I fucked my knee up.
That's how I fucked myself.
Yeah, that's how he fucked me.
That is also how he
picked
fucked
me
us.
up and fucked me like those, we'll say tiny 4K
videos.
If you're familiar, if you know, you know.
Yeah, if you know, you know.
You know,
that was the best reference we've made on this show this year. I'm throwing it out there.
I'm glad to get it in at the buzzer.
Yeah, really came
came
in like the Chargers with that touchdown with 4 seconds left.
Well, that's one of those type of videos that are uncomfortable because I feel like we're leaning into underage people, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But you'll still take a peek because you understand everyone is a consenting legal adult.
Of course.
You feel slightly more shame than your typical.
I don't know what shame is.
I haven't masturbated in months.
I haven't masturbated in a little bit myself.
I actually haven't.
Me either.
Are you doing that thing where you're thinking and then you're like, actually, it hasn't been that long?
It was about a week, probably about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago.
I have some photographs I'd like to show you right now that paint a different story.
Just me tugging my little dick.
Yeah. Like an hour ago when we were here.
Yeah.
When I went pee. You're just down here roping. Speaking of roping, you want to play that voicemail that we received?
I was just thinking about this. So
believe it or not, this one comes in hot from someone named Leonard.
Yeah.
I don't know if we've heard from him
Never heard of Leonard.
New fan. Gonna see how he holds up with all the dick references.
Yeah, we'll see if he can get through an episode.
We'll be talking like this exclusively
because everything's kind of a question I'm unsure about, but I'm faking it as I go because I think that
yeah, folks, we've given up.
Hey, it's Lemmy, and I'm calling to hopefully shed some light on what it would be like to die in a sea of assholes. I sent a submission of what I think the assholes are going to look like. Just search up chocolate buttholes if the picture doesn't go through. Now, it goes without saying, you can't swim through assholes. Scrooge McDuck Goldcorns are the disease pit that is the Chuck E. Cheese ball pit. So in our Scrooge McGanus vault of people's fleshy poopy bits, it starts out empty with you in your one-piece old-timey swimsuit in the center. Then, at the sound of a loud buzzer, assholes start raining down. Now, because I'm the horrible fuck responding to this, 35% of the assholes are nice, clean, and otherwise pleasant as far as assholes are concerned. 30% are dirty just from a day of being a butthole. Doesn't have shit smeared all over it, but it is a freshly showered. 25% have seen better days. They've clearly seen some action recently, but not the fun kind. And lastly, 10% are truly the most horrible of fucks. They are as dirty as can be, like they probably belong to teenage boys that don't know what toilet paper or showers are. So this grab mix bag of assholes starts raining down. What do? I'll be generous and say you can easily tell which assholes are clean, fresh, and worthy of being eaten like groceries. You're going to want to collect all of these clean ones and start piling them up around you, because dying in an asshole sea is bad enough, but dying with shitty ones smearing your face it's too far. So gather up them clean good old boys and start building that mound around you so that only the clean ones are touching you. At least then, it's as pleasant as can be. Then all there is to do is wait and contemplate. What is it like, you ask yourself? Well, it smells like the worst public bathroom you've ever been in, but you can't escape. It feels like a bunch of cold, puckered assholes are on top of you, slowly crushing the life out of you, which is probably similar in texture to day-old overcooked steaks that have been sitting in your fridge too long. And then it gets heavier and heavier until the weight is making it impossible to breathe, and it keeps getting heavier until you pass out and die. So that's what I'm imagining it'd be like in this Scrooge McGanus vault of hell, but I don't know. What do you guys think? Also, look up chocolate buttholes. Get you guys something nice for Valentine's Day for each other. I'm not making this up. Fucking look it up. It's horrifying and amazing in all the wrong ways. So hopefully this has been insightful. I'll talk to you guys later. Love you, boys.
Well, for the record on that, you definitely ruined the present I got for Drama for Christmas, so thanks for that.
Yep.
It's weird having a chocolatier touch your asshole, but he said he was certified.
Yeah, we'll get into that. That wasn't a chocolatier. That was a bus boy.
At Buster's.
Yeah. I don't know if we... I think we asked for swimming, not dying. I don't...
Yeah.
Not the biggest fan of people calling and going through a scenario of our death, but I guess if it has to be, it's not a bad way to go.
No, no, that's a pretty bad way to go. I'm going to take a strong stance on this one.
But, I mean, you're going to die a legend. The only person who suffocated in a mound of asshole.
I will only die that way if I can die with you that way.
Wait, do we suffocate or are we crushed by the pressure?
It's a mixture of both. It pushes all the air out of your body, and then you can't get any more air in.
Like a snake. But
yeah,
with
it's a constriction of buttholes.
The buttholes were cold, which I wasn't picturing.
Yeah, but I also don't know how we would warm them without them getting...
Room temperature butthole? I mean, my skin is...
But, I mean, there's no circulation to them, so, like, it's just like a piece of meat, technically.
I'm still picturing... If you let meat sit out, it's not gonna be cold.
Yeah, but I'm just picturing like I don't think the mass of them is going to make it warmer. Like I don't think it's
gonna get hot in there.
You think it's hot in a big pool full of assholes?
Yeah, if they're all encompassing us and we're breathing in there. Have you ever been under a blanket?
Yeah.
That's just a butthole?
No.
Okay. Different lives.
Yeah, different waves. I still respect you.
Well, yeah, I'm going to be honest, there's a lot of attention to detail here that I never could have ever imagined.
Never pictured it.
My wildest dreams that I wake up screaming from. I mean, there's a lot of detail to the percentage of buttholes and how they're separated. Some are clean, some are as fresh as they get, some are very shitty.
Yeah.
So, I honestly, He made
It's got to smell awful.
Yeah, I mean, he made it sound like we're going to start taking the clean ones to build up a wall around us. If I'm just going to die from buttholes, I'm just going to die from buttholes.
Yeah,
Probably
it
not
doesn't
going to
matter
put
what
up
state
a
they're
whole
in.
lot of a fight. You know what I mean? There's some times where death is right around the corner and you just have to go, this is it.
Yeah, at that point you just have to accept it in a gracious way.
It's like if there's a zombie apocalypse, there's like half people think they're going to fucking go for it. And then there's like another group of people who are like, I'm not going to
just going to blow my brains out. I'm not dealing with this shit.
I want to become a zombie. We've already been over that.
Oh, yeah.
We're on buttholes right now.
Yeah. And this is neither here nor there.
Yeah. Now zombie buttholes.
That's a whole nother story.
I could live through that.
Yeah, that's a whole episode worth. We can't get into that.
But like, with all the detail, I feel like we're still missing some things here. What I would try to do, if anything is piling around me, I would try to start climbing. If they're going to be that compact, if you smush them down, I feel like you could get
there's got to be some elasticity to assholes.
So is it just filling a square room? So no matter what I'm going
Well, like
to
a pool, like it's a square pool.
Yeah, but if there's a pool, then I can get out.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
So it's got to be like a room. Because I won't die. If it's a pool of buttholes, I won't die. I'll get on top of them.
But a room of buttholes, you will die.
Yeah, I mean, if I can only go to the ceiling, then I'm, again, just going to give up because, what am I going to do? Get to the top and have like a foot of breath and it's just butthole breath and I just suffocate eventually. So I'm just stringing it out.
Maybe we're being saved from this butthole room at some point.
By Leonard?
I mean, I think he's the one to do it.
He kicks in a door. We can't. You'd have to open the door probably for the buttholes to spill out.
Yeah, they just. Oh,
and we slide out.
It's
do
like
you want to live? Hey, are you people on the street? Are you the guy that almost died in the room of buttholes?
No, I just look like him. Look at that guy over there. That's him.
You point at me.
It's our body doubles.
Oh yeah, they finally come in handy. I hope in that scenario, our body doubles are just in the butthole room.
Yeah, they're the ones who free us. They're like handsomer, more well put together versions of us, and I'm like.
And then if we kill them, then no one knows about the buttholes.
True. Then someone just finds a room of buttholes.
But if we kill our body
two dead
doubles,
bodies.
I want to kill yours.
Yeah, I want to kill yours.
I want to kill mine too, though.
We can take turns just passing them back and forth and beating the shit out of them till they die.
Okay, but you got to. I think you still got to pick who dies in whose hands. We'll go back and forth, but I'll end up strangling your body double.
Oh, I was definitely going with strangulation. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you don't want weapons and something like that. I have a lot of aggression against you that I'd like to get out.
I have a lot of rage I would like to get out against you. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. So maybe the buttholes isn't a bad thing.
No, maybe it's not. I think we've been thinking too negatively about this.
Okay, open casting call if you know anyone that looks like either of us. I apparently look like a Mexican singer. I don't remember his name. If you can get us in touch with him and if he's willing to die, just ask him. Just send an email, cold email. Are you willing to free my idol, I'll say, in this email from a fan's perspective? Are you willing to free my idol from a room of flooding buttholes that are going to suffocate him, and then him and my other idol, my lesser idol, of course, sorry,
no offense,
will beat you to death, and there'll be another man that looks like my other idol. Get back to me. Someone send that email off and let me know.
Open casting call for someone who wants to get killed by us.
Yeah, try to lean into being a hero of saving us.
You'll die a hero.
Yeah, you'll die a hero to two people.
Yeah,
who killed you.
Yeah, so no one
as
will know.
the reward for saving them.
Yeah, that's fair.
I think it's a Netflix original.
Yeah, making a bill.
You can't do that. Anyway, nothing just happened there. So yeah, Leonard, I mean, that's got to be the most well thought out.
It's definitely
thought out.
There's a lot there. There is a mass to that voicemail.
Tell us how much time you spent on that.
Yeah, let us know.
There is so much detail. Also, again, the service we use is funny because it transcribes it and it never does a good job. Oh yeah, and the chocolate buttholes. I've heard about this forever.
Yeah.
It's definitely a thing. He included a picture of an edible anus.
Yeah, I've seen him.
Yeah. My question with that, I feel like we might have even talked about it. You got to get waxed for that?
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, because you have to be molded for it.
Yeah. And I mean, I've had my asshole molded, but not for chocolate.
Yeah.
For a product line I'm hoping to see hit shelves.
Yeah, we're talking big things in the 2019.
Yeah.
We're still in the test run right now. Just they're giving a lot of rashes from what I heard.
Yeah, I mean, I personally demanded to test yours, and I can confirm, huge rash.
Yeah, gigantic
huge
rash.
In the way that I think if it doesn't work out, we can spin this into a penis enlargement, because mine got bigger.
It's engorged.
Bigger, redder, scratchier.
Drier.
It was already pretty dry.
Yeah,
The
but
head
somehow
gets,
drier.
like, white cracks in it.
Oh, okay.
That's what? That's it, really?
That's a lot. Yeah,
That's a lot.
that visual's it's a lot. Because when my dad was
So
growing
you're
up,
visualizing my
his
dick?
hands would get cracked in the
so
winter.
now you're thinking about your dad's dick.
No, now I'm just thinking about a cracked dick, and it's really fucking with me. I don't like it one bit.
I find it hard to believe that that's the most shocking thing I've said in recent
Just
history.
picturing it all of a sudden just did not sit right.
Well, I didn't ask you to picture my penis.
I wasn't picturing your penis. I was just picturing a penis. But of course, I'm always thinking about yours, so it's not really fair.
Exactly. But yeah, edible buttholes. There's no way that my hair wouldn't be included in that. So
No.
if we don't have to get waxed, I'd give it a go.
Yeah.
Depending on what it costs. If we want to,
But I feel like when they pour the
crowdfund
mold
this-
on there, any hair is going to get caught in it, and it's going to get yanked out anyway.
Could you imagine? I present you a you don't even have to eat it, but I just open up a box with my chocolate asshole and a bunch of hairs around it. That's gross.
Well, I don't think they make the chocolate on your asshole. They make a mold. And
but
then they
there's
make
so much hair that the mold has become coated with hair. And there's got to be a loose, you know what I mean?
a couple of loose butt pubes in there.
Yeah. Yes, butt pubes, of course. A couple of loose butt pubes. You know, typical shit.
Yeah, just normal everyday
Literal
bullshit.
typical shit. But yeah, I won't pay for it, but if we could crowdfund it, we will look into making chocolate anuses, and we will auction them off for charity.
Mm-hmm. To one special fan
Yeah,
who has to eat them in front of us.
Child.
Can't say that.
I just pictured like the Make-A-Wish Foundation, and for some reason,
Nope.
we're involved and we just give away chocolate anuses. They don't have to eat them. They just have to look at them.
Yeah, they just have to take a press photo with us.
That would...
Okay, let's get out of here.
Yeah, we got a lot of things to get to. We're just there for the photo op.
Yeah.
I probably would make death not so bad, though.
No, get a free box of chocolate assholes from the Dapper Dads and then die.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because you probably at that point are just like, my life isn't worth living.
Might as well just die on top,
All right, folks. Well, that's all. I think if you don't like the albums, I think you still got something there.
Yeah.
But yeah, right now we are going to get into our top 10 albums of the year. We did this last year. If you're just jumping in or you hate all of our old material like we do, the way we do this, we have 10 projects. We're going to say projects because now the lines are very blurred. What we'll get into here is there's a lot of shorter projects now and a lot of grotesquely long projects.
Yes.
And the way that we do this is if you guys are into music like us, I recommend it because I started doing this a couple years ago and it really shakes up your list because you get a solid number to put behind it. What you do is assign a number 1 through 10, 10 being the best, to every song. And then you divide your grand total by the number of songs on the project, and you get a nice little average that's very specific. And that's what we're about to get into here. So again, these are our opinions. Please do not try to confront me about it.
Do not at me on Twitter.
Yeah, if you're old and you want to complain because you don't know who these people are, or old rap was better and you're stupid, I don't give a shit. If you do want to recommend albums to us, we are very much here for that.
Oh, absolutely. We're always taking music
whatever.
suggestions.
If you listen to any of these albums and enjoy them, we would love to hear some feedback. That's
Yes,
part
and
of
if
what
you
we
love
do.
our music, we also have our Spotify playlist that we put out quietly every 2 weeks.
Yeah, we do. No one seems to give any sort of
I
a
love
shit.
them for what it's worth. I think they're great.
Well, I'm glad I'm doing something just for you.
It's nice.
Yeah, maybe.
I've
What have
actually
you done for me lately? I've just been over here craving some sort of chocolate, and you've brought me zero chocolate, anus or otherwise.
because I haven't given you your Christmas present yet.
I don't like to spoil gifts, but I'm good at it.
Well, I didn't want to give this to you early, but
Give it to me tomorrow when I'm drunk. Place it on my tongue with
use
my
my
eyes
butt
closed.
cheeks to put it in your mouth.
Well, I think that's a bit excessive.
I don't think so. It is. With a gift like that, that's how you have to present it.
I didn't read anything about that.
It's in the fine print.
It's on the back of the box. Must be delivered with butt cheeks. I'm like, well, I mean, who am I to tell this weird manufacturer how to do their very obscure job?
They clearly know how to deliver the product.
I guess so. But yeah, we want to get into this. I would like to go first because for the first time ever, one of mine I could not score for specific reasons. So I want to
Okay.
get that out of the way.
Yeah.
So we're going to get right into it.
Yeah.
All right,
time.
folks, next time on the Dapper Dads. All right, so my number question mark is Mount Erie, Now Only.
Yeah.
Came out this year. it is incredibly sad.
Very sad.
So the reason that I did not score this is because, like, how do you even do that?
It's hard because it's only 6 songs long, but they're very long.
There's an 11-minute song on it. Not even that. We've mentioned it before. We've seen him this year. He played these songs. Long story short, his wife passed away. He made a full project about it. This is the follow-up to that. It's still sad. I don't feel like scoring an album that's that personal.
Yeah,
there's like 2 other albums on my year-end list that are kind of about death, which paints me in a great light.
Yeah.
But this one is just painfully raw. I don't feel like I can assign a number. Also, the second half, you got to be in like the right mind state for this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If I'm having a sad day, some of these songs are like,
but like
9 out of 10.
You don't want to play this when you're trying to have a good time.
No, yeah, it's definitely going to bring me down. We both got the vinyl when we seen them. I haven't listened to either of them just because
I've listened to both of them.
Yeah, I just have not
when I was going through a hard time, which was a bad choice.
So,
but I also saw him when I was going through a hard time, which was a bad choice.
Yeah. So yeah, it's one of those where, yeah, I don't feel right assigning a number to it, and it would change day by day. If I'm going through a bad day, it could be top of the list. If I'm going through a good day and it makes it a bad day, then I feel like I'm not going to score it that good.
Right,
so
yeah.
It's the only one I've ever really had where I just don't really feel like assigning a number to it. I feel like it would be high up on my top 10.
Yeah.
It is for what it is. It's a very specific album.
But it doesn't feel right to like rate it in a way because it's so personal.
Disrespectful.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's obviously an incredible project. I knew it had to be on here. That's why it's just got a little asterisk next to it. But yeah, it's definitely even more eye-opening because the first project is immediately following her death. This has given it some time to breathe, and it's got songs about him having to play these songs live, and it's just more of a different view of death. You know what I mean? You hear about it a lot when it happens or years later. You don't get that like shortly after it happened, but still really going through it.
Like, yeah, because there's no timeline for grief. There's no timeline for trauma. You know, you process it however you process
and especially when it's not you and it's just an artist. You hear it mentioned on a project maybe, and then you think it's kind of in the background. This shows that he's still going through it, and constant reminders, very specific reminders. So yeah, check it out. Like, it's very, very sad. Listening to it the first time, I had like the lump in the throat and the tears welling in my eyes.
It's very hard to listen to.
Yeah. So if you're not in a good place, don't listen to it. Like, I can't stress it enough. It will fuck up probably a week of your life.
Yeah.
Especially if you're going through some shit. My favorite song off of it is Now Only, the self-titled track. It sounds a lot like a song. Most of this is just guitar, just him bearing his soul, stream of consciousness, just going at it. Now Only actually has like a song structure, other instrumentation. It is still fucking soul crushing.
Yeah.
But that is my favorite song. It is a project. If you think you can handle it, check it out. If you question at all if you can handle it, just don't do it.
Yeah, just don't.
But it's beautiful.
You'll know when you're ready for it.
Yeah. You want to get in yours?
Sure. Starting off with number 10 is the album Head Cage by Pig Destroyer. It's a band that I've fallen out of a lot of the heavier music that I used to listen to. I'll still listen to it time to time for, nostalgia reasons and stuff like that. But Pig Destroyer is one of those bands that I've just kept up with just because they made such an impression on me when I listened to them. They're almost like in the same way I consider Slipknot, where it's one of those bands that just made such an impression on me that I'm still going to listen to whatever they put out just so I can say that I listened to it.
Yeah. But and it's always get away from that,
right? Yeah, like I'm not in the same headspace I was when I was listening to Terrifier all the time, you know, because it's very dark, fast grindcore music, very heavy lyrics. J.R. Hayes, the singer, he writes these fantastically descriptive lyrics. Sometimes the songs are so short they're almost just like quick little pieces of poetry in a way, but they're very morbid, grotesque, just dark, evil things, because like that's his therapy. That's how he gets all that shit out. And they have an album, Prowler in the Yard, which is very like about going through a breakup, and it has all this like misanthropic stalkerish shit on there. And they re-released the album as a 20-year anniversary, and he wrote an essay to go with it, and he was like, obviously I was not in a good place when I made this album. If you resonate with this in too much of a way, I really recommend that you get help. So he's very self-aware about this stuff, but he doesn't deny that he has these feelings. Something of note with this album is this is the first album they've ever had with a bass player before, because they were originally a 3-piece, just guitar, drums, and a singer, and they would just put a lower guitar mix in the track for the bass, and he would just layer it live. But then in with their album Phantom Limb, they added like a sample and sound guy who would just make weird sounds in the music, just make it more abrasive. And then they added a bass player a year or two ago, so he had to make up parts for the old songs to play, while also writing new parts. It gives the album an interesting dynamic because it fleshes them out as more of a band. In a way, it makes them not as unique because that three-piece structure made them very unique, and then adding just a noise man was a very interesting move for a band, you know. But there was several moments on this project where, you know, the bass would come through for a solo part with just like the bass and drums, and you're like, oh, that sounds kind of cool, you know, that. But it just tended to float a little bit too close to like sounding too much like things I've heard before. For me, it was still a fantastic album. The reason it ranked at number 10 was because with this style of music, it can get very monotonous very quickly if you're not really into it. And if someone was to listen to this album, there were some moments on there where it was kind of hard to differentiate what I was listening to versus what I had heard before. But that's what's interesting about them as a band, is sometimes you can listen to their album and be like, that was one of the most impressive heavy pieces of music I've heard, but not be able to really distinguish any piece of, like, you couldn't be like, oh, that's that song or that's that song. I can, because I listen to it so fucking much, but when you first get into their albums, it's almost hard to differentiate the noise sometimes. And with this, it became a little bit too indistinguishable at points. But it was still something where that younger version of me that really loved it still gets a really big kick out of it, you know. Like, I still loved that first listen with the headphones, reading the lyrics through all the way through, and it just strikes that certain chord in my heart. It is a very impressive piece of noise to listen to. Everything they do just has this momentous sound to it. So if you're into really extreme music or just really heavy hardcore grindcore stuff, I can 100% recommend this album to you. But it is something it is probably the least accessible album on this list. It is something where it is a very,
I would hope so.
It is very specific.
My next 9 are gonna be even crazy.
Yeah, my next 9 are just ambient noise albums. But it's
my number 1 is it's just a ceiling fan.
Yeah, my number 1 is just a man beating his head against a wall.
Oh yeah, that came
screaming.
in at 5 for me.
Yeah,
a little bit much.
30 tracks long. It was a lot, but
that poor man.
But no. So the album is Head Cage by Pig Destroyer. If you, like I said, if you're into heavy shit, you're gonna like it. If you've ever thought, I wonder if I'm going to like metal or death metal or grindcore, and I wouldn't recommend jumping into it with this. But it for sure stood out for me when I heard it this year.
What was the score on it?
The score was a 7.6.
Nice. All right, so my number 9 coming in at a 7 is Little Baby, Harder Than Ever.
Excellent choice.
This one was like the first I really got into Lil Baby. I had heard him on like the Quality Control project, but then that fucking song with Drake really got it. And I will say,
then the one with Gunna and Uzi.
Yeah, of course. This project has a few of like my favorite songs this year. Life Goes On?
Life Goes On, yeah.
Life Goes On, and then Yes Indeed, and then even Exotic. It's got a great bunch of shit on it. Problem right off the bat, fucking too long. It's too long. If they shaved like 6 songs off this, it could be like really high up in my shit.
I had my number 9 is very similar for that reason.
Yeah, and that's one of the things I really want to focus on as we get through it, because I know there's some shorter projects too. And like we said, with the way that we rank the albums or these projects in general, if they have less songs, it ends up doing better because there's a better chance. This thing's got like 17 songs. Yeah. So even though like the intro on this
is hard as hell,
stickler for like, I consider this a mixtape. It's an album. That's why I'm not even going to get into it. But if you have a song called Intro or something that's very clearly meant to be an intro, it better fucking smack. And this intro,
it smacks
right off the bat. And then you got Exotic, you got Yes Indeed. There's like a ton of tracks on their South Side. It's fucking really good. He has also put out the album with Gunner that was not good, and then he just put
Drip
out
Too Hard is a fantastic song, though.
Yeah, that song, but that came out way before the album, and I was hoping the album would be like that, and it's not. It's not a very good album.
No.
And he just
it's got a knob feature. It can't be that good.
He just released another solo project like 2 weeks ago.
So what, 3 albums this year?
Yeah, it's way too much music for. I know the joke is quality control needs to focus on their quality control, but seriously, because his new album is not good at all.
No, it's not.
This project is really good. Like I said, shave, I'd say 6 songs off, and it would have been crazy.
Yeah.
But it is what it is. It's far too long. It's definitely good. It's the first thing that got me into Lil Baby, and I thought for sure when this came out, I seen him being like one of my favorite rappers this year, and then he just really hasn't held up on it. But Bless you.
That was awful.
But yeah, definitely.
I don't even know what to do about this. This is awful.
Slim got so excited about his top 10, he just roped everywhere, right out of the face. But yeah, definitely check out Lil Baby if you like that kind of, I don't know, generic trap shit. It's good for what it is.
Mm-hmm. Coming in at number 9 for me is Punkin' by Maxo Cream. This was a really early contender.
When I was looking through albums, I was like, this motherfucker. Because I will be honest, you are very hyperbolic about all albums, pretty much everything. You're like, I love it. And then this is why I always want to hear your top 10, because all year you're like, I love it. I love it. I love it.
Because I love a lot of things.
Yeah, but this is why your top 10 is more important to me, because I hear a lot of love in it. But yeah, you're really into Maxo Cream, which I found surprising. And I guess it held up.
Yeah, no. So this was actually because he's put out a couple of different projects that I've like dabbled with, but never really been about. But then this one came out, and the cover art just really hit me. It's just like that big shot of his face with the grill.
Face.
Well, and it's like you haven't really seen a good rap album cover like that since like the early to mid 2000s, you know, because like a lot of times they try to be artistic these days, or it's like too simplistic. But that's like that perfect amount of like gangster with like enough.
It's very intriguing.
It's intriguing, and the fault with this project is that it's too long. The second half.
It's gonna be a reoccurring thing.
The second half of the album really isn't even that impressive to me. There's maybe 1 or 2 songs off the second half that I really enjoyed. I enjoyed Roaches is like one of the few good cuts from the end of the album, but the first half is just banger after banger after banger. He has Grannies, he has Capiche with Trippie Redd. My 2 top picks from that album, there's a song called Go with a guy named D Flowers, and when you look up the guy, he only has that song as a feature on Spotify, which is annoying because that dude's voice is so unique.
I fucking love from whatever the DJ Esco mixtape is, that E.T. or whatever.
Yeah.
There's a song by a guy named Rambo, so weird, and it's the best song on it. It's called Super Dumb, and it fucking all of it. He has a ridiculous, crazy voice. Only song. Still to this day.
Yeah,
only
it's like the only song you can find.
And you got a fucking DJ Esco mixtape with Future and shit?
Well, and that's the thing. Because like Maxo Cream's kind of a big name.
Yeah,
and when you watch, there's a video out for Go. It was one of those World Star Hip Hop exclusives.
Yeah,
and this dude comes out, and he is massive. Because Maxo Cream's a big guy.
Oh, yeah. I've seen him in person with his shirt off.
Yeah, he's terrifying from what I understand. But this guy comes in the music video, he comes out in a bulletproof vest with camo pants on, and the 2 shots that they have like of him switching back and forth are him in a group full of dudes just like rapping his ass off, and then standing on a balcony with a pit bull on like a 30-foot chain, and the dog is just going crazy, and he's just rapping into the video camera the whole time. And I find myself listening to his verse on repeat a lot because his voice, it's very like gruff but deep. It's so unique when you hear it. It's because with one of the flaws that Maxo has is that his voice and flows can get a little repetitive sometimes.
Yes, very much so.
Because he really embodies that Houston style. You know, he's got that deep. Well, there was a song there's a song I just found, and it has a Maxo Cream feature on it, and his flow is like he's like Gucci collar, sure no rugby, diamonds dancing, do the Dougie, and that's what a lot of his flow is. Where it's really good lyrically, but it leaves some thought to be desired. And then he has it's an interlude on the album. It's just called Beyonce, and he just talks shit like through the mic for the first 10 seconds of it, and then it's just this super banging beat where he's got all these really good like metaphors because he what is it? He says, my Draco sing like Drake, though, Beyonce and Quavo, more bodies than J-Lo. And it's like he's just got reference after reference after reference. But after about 7 or 8 songs, the album just kind of falls off a little bit. And I don't know if that's due to his flow or just the repetition of it. But I found myself listening to that first half a lot in the first part of this year because just something about his style was very cold. The music was just, it fit that January winter mood really, really well. And I in fact, even today when I was driving home from work, Go came up on my shuffle and like I couldn't pass it up just because I know it's so much of a fucking banger that, you know, it's one of those things that's kind of tragic because if the album was like perfect all the way through, it's one of those things I'd listen to a lot. But unfortunately, there was just having such a good, strong first half left an impression on me where it's this is why it came in at number 9. It's lower on the list, but it's still a overall fantastic project. If you like that trap shit that we like, you know, this is definitely going to be right up your alley. I can recommend pretty much anything that Max O'Cream does. His features are usually pretty ridiculous. He does great on features, but like I said, as an album, it can lag on a little bit.
What was the score on that?
That was a 7.7.
All right. Coming in at a hot number 8 for me. Score is 7.1. It's Sorority Noise, YNAAYT.
Yes.
This is last year. I found them this year. I had heard of them before. I had heard like Using and like the big songs, and it never really clicked. Earlier this year, I found their album from last year called You're Not As Blank As You Think You Are.
And that album has been played many a time on the car rides home.
If I had found that last year, it would have been high up on my list.
It's so good. It's that perfect post-emo. They always got that perfect post-emo sound.
And it's very sad shit. This is like a rearrangement of almost that album in its entirety, done like primarily acoustically. There'll be some strings and some light piano.
Yeah.
And it makes the songs even more haunting and sad.
Yeah, because
like,
the lyrics on those are heart-wrenching.
The singer has had
that album
like,
got
all
me
of
through
his
some
friends
shit.
die, and it's just very sad. So this is my other album that is pretty much centered around death. So it's like this was the last one that I put on my list because I had forgotten it had come out this year. It's kind of, you got to knock a little bit of points off because the original album is better. This is so specific, you know what I mean? It's the same songs redone but stripped down. Some of them are really good. Like one of my favorite songs off of the project was Car. So when it's rearranged, they have like a weird drum machine, and so it completely ruins it, you know what I mean? So sometimes some songs are slightly better, some songs are worse. I feel like overall none of the songs are like tremendously better, so that's why it's low on my ranking. But it is like, if I'm listening to Sorority Noise, I'm probably in a sad place. If I'm listening to these songs, I'm in a very sad
if I
place.
come over and you're listening to these, I need
people around
to
me will be like,
you.
oh, okay, so we're doing the acoustic one. So it's definitely good for what it is. It's definitely not an entry point for them. I would check out You're Not As Blank As You Think, because that album is great. But yeah, it's definitely interesting. I think some of the rearrangements, like I said, are very good. Some of the songs definitely do grow from it, but overall nothing's really better. I tend to listen to the other one more. This is more sad. They also took out like 2 songs and replaced them, and those songs aren't very good at all.
Yeah.
This also appears to be like their final album, which feels like it should be like a real album. You know what I mean?
Not like a reinterpretation of their other stuff.
But yeah, it's definitely good. My favorite songs off of it are A Portrait Of, which is one of my favorite songs by them in general. And then A Better Sun, which that is one of I think the only song of this project that made me revisit the normal version of it and get into that song, because that one has like some weird effects in it that wasn't as accessible. And hearing the lyrics done like that made me go back and be a fan of that song too. So there's something to it, but it's definitely like ties together with the other album. So that's why it's very specific, basically.
Coming in at number hot 8 for me is Iridescence by Brockhampton. Not by far from being the best Brockhampton release. I just want to throw that out of the gate. It's I have a very special place in my heart for Brockhampton. There's a reason
I think we all had high hopes.
Yeah,
but also an understanding that it was never going to be the same.
Yeah, Brockhampton has been part of the soundtrack for the Dad Squad over the last year. For me personally, the trilogy, the Saturation trilogy, really helped me with my breakup.
Which was both of our number one project last year.
And it still stands the test of time. I still listen to the Saturation trilogy constantly, if not just songs off of it. Those albums mean so much to me that my expectations going into Iridescence were very, very high. Mainly just because of the healing I got from that album. You know, you put yourself in an emotional place with it where you get almost connected to the band in a way. Yeah. And, you know, you feel like if it's not good, then like suddenly you're not going to be able to go back and revisit that place in your mind. You know, you're not going to be able to rehash those same emotions. There's a lot of standout sounds on this album is what I'll say. The songs themselves, they recorded the album in the same way they did the Saturations, I found out, which is like very short notice. They did it very quickly, like Saturation 1 was
this was made in like a week in Abbey Road
yeah,
studio.
Which is a really beautiful idea, and you can kind of hear that they were in a bigger, more professional studio. They had some more room to kind of stretch a little bit and do different things.
I think you can also hear a lot that it feels rushed. You know what I mean?
It feels rushed.
It has moments where it's very all over the place. This is not on my top 10. It is something I would say is an honorable mention. There are fantastic songs off of it.
Yeah.
But as a whole, it feels very...
just all over the place.
Kind of like a
crazy
clusterfuck, unfortunately.
My favorite tracks from the album were San Marcos and Honey. Were my two favorites. I really just love the beat switches on Honey, especially that beat switch at the end where it just gets all like, a million reasons to get rich. Like that just has such a feel-good vibe to me. That's the sound of when I'm feeling like when I'm with you guys and we're all that perfect level of drunk in a different city and we're just having a really good time. That's what that kind of happy sounds like to me at the end of Honey. And then San Marcos has obviously turned into a sad dad drive home song.
For sure.
It is got that great sing-along chorus at the end. That song really caught me off guard because the way it started, I thought it was going to be like a creepy banger coming on, and then it turned into this really, really just beautiful song overall.
And especially because I feel like they've like one of the things they've always done best, in my opinion, is more like the sad songs. You know what I mean? They have their bangers undeniably, but I think the songs I always visit most are like Face or Swim or like those type of songs. And this project, for a majority of it, doesn't really touch on that much.
No.
Until like the end with San Marcos and then the Tanya one. But otherwise it feels, and like I like Wait off of it a lot.
Wait is good.
Until fucking Joba. If we can talk about it, Joba makes the project
it's
worse.
I understand that they were trying to have Joba give him like the aggressive personality that Amir had, but it's just not the same.
Accept the loss.
Yeah,
you know
just have to move forward and let him.
If your friend dies, you don't just grab a friend and try to make him as close to that
right.
friend as you can.
You know, and
obviously it's different.
Well, and it's like I didn't mind Joba on the 3 singles they put out before this album. I wish that Iridescence was more in the vein that those singles were, because I thought the 1997 Diana is one of my top songs that came out this year.
I wasn't really crazy about any of the singles, and Joba's always had like a bit too much at times for me, and it fit, but I don't know.
Well, I really enjoyed Jover. Like I like Joba's verse on that just because I like the aggression. But like Merlin's part sucks on that song, and the beat is so good, and like Matt's part is but
that's what I feel like. There's definitely, I feel like almost all the songs have a part that I'm like, but then there's too much of it that I'm just like, even like I said, I think it's on Wait when it gets to Joba's verse, he's like the hands and the hands and in the hands and times in the hands, and it's just this whole weird scheme of like. It's like he also sounds like he wants to be old Eminem.
And I can't stand it. Just because you're a white rapper in the biggest boy band in the world doesn't mean you have to be Eminem. Because he does the weird did flow too much, and it's not good. But like I said, Brockhampton just has a special place in my heart. So this album has grown on me at first, but in a ways it is also there's a lot of songs that I skip when I listen to it again.
I haven't really went back to it, and it makes me feel sad listening to it because
it's not as good as it could be.
Which you can't expect everything, and technically we got 3 albums, so it's beautiful that it worked out like that. But I don't know, man. It's just
there's a reason
better times.
There's a reason it came in at number 8, just because of how much I enjoyed some of the individual songs on there.
Well, look at from last year, their project being both our number ones to 8 on your list and not on mine.
It came in at a 7.9 for me, just because I wouldn't recommend this if you somehow have never listened to Brockhampton and you're just finally learning about who they are. We definitely recommend the Saturation trilogy above all else. Just sit down, take an evening, just listen to 1 through 3 completely all the way through. Learn some things about yourself. Give yourself some time to really appreciate those albums, and then listen to Iridescence, because it's not going to be what you're expecting. It's good, but it's not the Brockhampton that we all love and appreciate. So that's where my score came from.
All right. So for my number 7, coming in at 7.3, it's Jeff Rosenstock, Post.
I knew this was going to be on yours.
This literally came out on New Year's Day this year. I was coming back from Madison, hungover, and I looked on Twitter, and it had come out. I went home and I listened to it, and then I immediately ordered the top-notch first pressing, only 2,000, like quad-colored vinyl. Very exquisite. But yeah, it's very hard to follow his last album in a similar sense with like Brockhampton when albums are so good. Like it's almost like I didn't need another Jeff Rosenstock album right away because Worry is like incredible.
Yeah,
to me.
Worry is wonderful.
Worry is probably one of my favorite albums of all time. So it's hard to follow that up. This is also very political, of course, which like I can respect. I don't get into that as much. I don't listen to a lot of music centered around that.
Yeah.
I fully agree with everything he says politically on the album, of course. And knowing his music and his style and his activism and involvement in those type of things, I knew that was going to be coming. He's very vocal. When I seen him live, he had a Donald Trump pinata that he threw on the ground, and I got to stomp its head in.
Very nice.
So I knew it was to be expected. And one of my favorite songs off of it, called Your Throat, is like about politics and the anxiety you get from just all the shit in the world. And it's very relatable. But yeah, it didn't do the same for me as Worry. I didn't really expect it to. It is very good overall. It's got more, some of them have more of like a punk feel. There's like some very like Ramones-esque songs and things like that I feel like he always has little ones that have like in Worry, he has like 8 songs that all kind of blend together, and there's like a ska one, like a hardcore punk one. So he's always been a man of many different sounds. And I think that's still explored pretty well on the project. But it still does kind of fall short. It's definitely not my favorite Jeff Rosenstock project. He does have 2 songs on him. One of them is called 9 out of 10, where it's just like very piano driven and like beautiful. Also talks a lot about anxiety.
Yeah.
But it's really good. The first song is called USA. It's like 7 minutes long, and it really drags on. For as far as like talking about Lil Baby with the intro, this is a horrible example of an intro to me, because it gets, the song's decent, but then it drags on for about 3 minutes, and then there's chanting at the end, and it's just like, it's not great in my eyes.
Yeah.
But he does, like I said, with the slow songs, I feel like that's something I haven't heard a lot in like that kind of way, like piano driven and more like kind of singy. So that was exciting to hear. I feel like he definitely still has good things in there. Like I said, 7.3. It's still a solid album.
Yeah.
If you're going to get into him, definitely check out Worry. That's the album that got me into him. Love that one. And then check this one out too. It's definitely has its place as well.
Yeah. So coming in at number 7 for me is a recent release that came out quick, but I very clearly recognize as a top contender for albums of the year. Stokely by Ski Mask the Slump God.
Okay.
Because
that song is a 10 out of 10.
That song is a 10.
That song I've already kind of ruined because I've listened to it so
much. Yeah,
like the most I've listened to any song.
I've always been a huge Ski Mask the Slump God fan ever since I first heard his music. His flows are impeccable. His voice is unique, and what I love about him was something I loved about Johnny Craig back in like my scene days, was that Johnny Craig sang in a way where you could hear him say different things depending on what you really listened for in the music, you know? And that's one of the things that Ski is always good at. He's good with the wordplay, the double entendres, the really clever wit. He's just got the man is honestly, I think, one of the best rappers in the game right now.
Yeah, he definitely has one of the most remarkable flows. Like,
and it's so impeccable is what it is. Like
he like speaks like that too. When you listen to him talk, that's like his life. Like,
that's just who he is.
No question that he was going to be a rapper. And a good one.
And he just lives up to it. And it's like everything I hear from him, I just enjoy so much. It's now the Book of Eli wasn't as good as it could have been. There's a reason Stokely is on here instead of Beware the Book of Eli. Now, Beware the Book of Eli has one of my favorite songs that came out this year, which is not a popular one with the Dad Squad. Do I Have the Sauce?
Yeah. It's
not bad, but like it's not the best Ski Mask song, but like I just like the vibe in that one, and he has that really fast flow bit in the beginning. He does best over those really thick syrupy beats.
Yeah,
you know?
If he did, like, he has a specific sound like Foot Fungus, Catch Me Outside, like those type of songs. If he
Adventure
did a whole
Time,
Adventure Time for sure. If he did like a whole project like that, I feel like it would be like a top 5 project of the year.
Yeah.
My problem with this album is like when he tries to make like the love songs and like
like the slower songs.
He has songs where he sounds trying to be more like X was, you know, where it's like
him and X were so close. They were very, very close.
And X had like his way of doing that, which I think was better done. And Ski Mask, it just feels like, and you can't say like you can't make these type of songs, but I don't think he really shines on those type of songs.
Something of note with this album is that after after Ski had put out the Book of Eli, one of the last interactions he said he had with X was they got into a fight. And one of the things X said to him is, your eyes are closed and you're making all these big decisions. And he said that made him realize that he's like trying to live this certain lifestyle and be this certain person. And he said it would have ended his career if he didn't really open his eyes up and really think about himself and his brand and what's important to him and stuff like that. And that's where Stokely came from. I mean, you can really, between this and the Book of Eli, you can really hear him just step his game up. You know, it really feels like he buckled down and wanted to make a really impressive project. And I've heard a lot of features come out with him this year that have been, his features have always been fantastic. A Chew with Keith Ape was one of my top songs last year. And he has a song that came out this year with Young Craig. I think it's like Young Craig and Smoke Perp, and he just does the chorus with Smoke Perp, and it's like one of the hardest fucking hooks that came out this year. Yeah. And it's like, that's just how he does things. I'm just impressed with his level of constantly being able to one-up himself with everything that he's doing. And as you listen to Stokely, I mean, obviously Foot Fungus is the best song on the album. Yes. The Faucet song, I forget what that was. It's like Faucet Fault or something like that. La La is really fantastic. There's so many just good, solid bangers. There's some Chase the Money beats on there, which I'm really happy to see. Exciting. Well, Chase the Money is a fantastic. He's produced some of our favorite songs that have come out this year.
I think we might mention him coming
a couple of times. But no, so if you're gonna pick between Ski Mask projects that came out this year, coming in at number 5 is someone who also put out 2 projects this year that I had to pick from. And we'll get into that a little bit more in depth. But with Ski Mask, this is the more superior of the 2 projects that has come out this year. But where the Book of Eli isn't bad, it's just you can definitely tell he took the criticisms from that album and really tried to improve on them and make something better with this. So if you're going to listen to a Ski Mask project this year, make it this one, especially with that exquisite cover photo. That album cover, though, of him looking like Napoleon. Yeah, you want to talk about a velvet painting I want in my house? I want 6 foot tall Ski Mask right when you come in the front door.
And this also was such a better rollout. That was one of the problems with Beware the Book of Eli is they got he finally leaked it and he was getting fucked by his label and they kept talking about it, and then it had one Worldwide or whatever, the song that was left off that was really good. And fucked around, and then this definitely had a better rollout, and I agree is a much better project.
No, so if you're, like I said, if you're going to listen to a Ski Mask project this year, make it this one, because you will definitely find some rewarding treats in there. And when you get to Foot Fungus, let us know how much your hips shake, because when the day it dropped, we were shaking our hips a lot.
Yeah, just listen to Foot Fungus on repeat. I mean, if he released it Stokely and it was just Foot Fungus 10 times, it might be my number 1.
Yeah,
that song is boy, oh boy. All right, coming in at number 6 for me with a score of 7.44 is Prof Pookie Baby.
Interesting.
Why, you think it's low?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. And that is a testament to,
because it's actually in my top 5.
Yeah, it was hard for me. It's neck and neck with my number 5, which we'll get into next, unless we're gonna just start jumping around. But yeah, obviously I think everyone anticipates Prof to be up high in mine, and it is
for both of us.
It is a very good album. I will say I believe it has the worst Prof songs he's ever made on it. Things like Cooked Crack Before. I don't.
Yeah, I do not like that.
I don't like the trope of rappers talking shit about young rappers. You know what I mean? And who gives a shit? In hip hop, it's harped on far too much. You know what I mean? And I get it.
It's right. It's not right to glorify all this drug use and shit.
No,
but let the kids have fun. Let them do what they're gonna do.
It is what it is. There's a space for everyone, and I think Prof does what he does good, and he's good at making. I've always said this to people when I try to introduce them. If you listen to King Gampo, there's a song for everything on it. You know what I mean? You've got the bangers, and then you've got the saddest songs,
and then the uplifting songs.
Yeah, you get the powerful ones, you get introspective ones, you get everything. This album feels like that method is very forced. You know what I mean? You have the stoner song, which I don't smoke weed, so none of those songs hit me perfectly. And I feel like it is a better weed smoking song. It has a fun concept, designated hitter, baseball theme, but it still just feels like it's there to be there. You have the focus is also very bad to me.
We'll get into my opinions about this later.
It's too it feels forced. Those type of songs feel forced. Now it does have incredible songs on it, like Action and No. Those are my two picks.
Action Live is incredible.
Yes.
Oh my god.
No Live, and it's got a beautiful Cashinova verse on it.
When Cash comes out, it's good.
Yeah. And he's still got the bangers.
God, when he came out to Action at the last show we went to, that was wild.
And again, an amazing live performer. We've spoken about that endlessly.
Seen him 4 times this year.
I've seen him over 30 times.
Yeah. We cannot stop singing the praises of Prof enough. I wear his merch constantly, everywhere. He is someone I had never seen before this year, and I've seen him 4 times. So if that tells you anything about how much I love him, I can't tell you enough. Just listen to some fucking Prof, man.
Yeah. So it's definitely, I would start, if I had to recommend an album, I always say King Gampo. It's my favorite album.
Yeah, King Gampo is clearly the best one.
This, like I said, I think it's very good. It's definitely something I like. I feel like it still has all the things I want from it.
Mm-hmm.
Criminal is like the incredible, like I said, he's always got like the slow, sad song, and like the beginning of that is like very meaningful to me, and I love it. And seeing it live, he kills it. His videos have been incredible this year.
Oh yeah,
it's a good album, but like I said, I feel like it has some bad songs on it. It's an album that also, if you trimmed a little bit, it could be fantastic, and that's to be said about a lot of them. But definitely still a solid project.
Okay. Coming in at number 6 for me was Veteran by JPEG Mafia.
That's on my honorable mention, but yeah. Because it's a lot.
It is a lot. And that is so in the way I talked about Pig Destroyer being a lot of noise, a JPEG Mafia album is a lot of noise. Like I don't want to say akin to Death Grips, because that's a whole nother fucking thing.
And he hates that.
Yeah, but of course he's a black rapper that makes noisy raps. Of course he's going to be compared to MC Ride. It's always something like that. There's something that stylistically makes JPEG different from Death Grips in a lot of ways.
It's much better too.
He's so much
better at doing it, and it doesn't feel so like artsy and forced.
Right,
it feels very sincere.
It feels very like this is who he is. It's like, because like even they fucking say that Death Grips is a fucking 4chan band, like it's a meme band in a way.
And they do so much stupid shit, like not showing up to their shows and the whole suicide note thing, and not putting out it's all a fucking game, and it's not
fun to be a fan of them.
If your art lives up to the shenanigans stuff, I'm a fucking Frank Ocean fan, so don't talk to me about having to
let
deal
down
with
and
shit.
having to deal with stupid shit.
But he can do that because he can fucking do that. It's Frank Ocean. Death Grips is the music doesn't appeal to me. I've never been a fan of experimental hip hop, but this shit I can get behind.
No, JPEG Mafia has such a certain style to him that it's almost like it's a weird coolness in a way.
Yeah.
That kind of can't be denied. Like he's not normal, but in any sense of the word. The music he creates is not normal. The sounds that he creates are very industrial, very jagged sounding, very jarring.
A lot of random samples.
Yeah,
the sample of ODB doing the and then that's like the whole beat, and then it just starts.
What's that one song? Baby I'm Bleeding?
Yeah, that's one of my favorites.
That's one of my favorite tracks off the album, but that beat when it first comes on is so
I can't even listen to that around some people because they can't deal with and there's so many clicks throughout
there's a lot of like glitchy sounding noises.
Shit, just weird little
it's almost scary sounding in a way because when
I first sat down and listened to it, it's unsettling.
What appeals to me about this is I really am into like abstract noise music and like very scary sounding, just like avant-garde music. I believe one of my album picks last year was Pharmacon, because she just impresses me on a scale with the sheer velocity at which the music she makes feels so insanely weird and unsettling and nightmarish in a way. But this JPEG Mafia is almost an accessible nightmare because it's glitchy, it's strange,
and even I always forget the name, but the one that's the address 1536.
1539 North Calvary. That's a very accessible
song. If you want to look into his music, that one honestly just feels like a normal rap song. You know what I mean? That doesn't have so much of the crazy shit in it. If I do have to recommend one song off of the project though, and 50% of it is how good the song is, and 50% or more is how good the title is, I cannot fucking wait until Morrissey dies. Might be one of the best.
It just makes me so very happy to see that.
That's part of the reason why I checked the album out, because I'd heard pieces and I heard an interview with him, and then I looked at the track list and I was like, all right, I'll look into this.
We have a chance to go see him this upcoming year, and I really want to, because he
appears to be an incredible live performer.
Yeah, he appears to be a very good live performer.
Just him and his laptop.
Well, and it's like he just he's so unique, but he embodies a lot of what I enjoy about music, because a lot of the bands and artists that I like, they tend to be very extreme in a lot of ways, and he represents a certain kind of cool extreme where it's a lot, but it you can tell he's controlling it. It's almost like a rocket blast about to take off. You know, he doesn't seem, where Death Grips can seem so very out of control with what they do, he seems to have a very fine, hard focus on what he does, and it almost makes him sound more lethal in a way. Like he has a very like jarring urgency to the way he raps, and it comes across as this, it doesn't come across as this outlandish, you know, display of emotion. It comes across as more of a very the mind of someone who is very fine-tuned with what they're doing, but there is just so much shit going on up here that this is the way it comes out, you know.
Well, I love too, because he'll like scream a line and then say the next one quietly, or have a sample that completely like shifts it, you know what I mean? It's not just constantly
the sample shifts get me constantly. It is so good.
Or like, I always think of, I can't remember what, I think it might be in Baby I'm Bleeding, where he's like, white boy better put his hands up, I'm coming, and it's, you know what I mean, it's like aggressive and then just creepy.
He just goes back and forth, back and forth. There's so much back and forth, but it still embodies this character he's trying to do, you know. But in a way, you feel like this is genuinely who he is as a person too. You know, I've always said that I like Drake's music, but I don't believe in Drake. I don't believe in the character that is Drake. I believe in JPEG Mafia, but I also believe that they say the good rule of a good movie monster is one that you can picture in repose. And so like if you like Godzilla, it's hard to picture Godzilla like asleep or relaxing, you know. But when you think about like The Strangers, like those are people, so they make in this theory a better villain, because you can picture them in repose. You can picture them relaxing, doing human things, but then they go out and kill people. With JPEG Mafia, he creates this character that is very believable, but you can also see that this is also very much him, but the artistic expression is just more of it, if that makes sense. Like it's just magnified in a lot of ways.
I also, like I said, I watched an interview with him, and I've listened to several others now. He also has like a very crazy story that's great as well. That one's definitely high on my honorable mentions. My next album, number 5, coming in at 7.5, is Smino Noir.
JPEG Mafia was an 8.4, by the way.
So yes, Smino Noir. This just came out in November. This is the album that, like, out of a lot of these, I've listened to a bunch already. Some came out like beginning of the year, throughout the year. This one just came out, so it might be part of that, but this is the album that I'm currently like have been nonstop listening to. And I listened to it initially. The first single off it, LMF, was incredible. Everybody has always spoken so highly of his first album, Black Swan, which I think came out last year. I've seen it on all the year-end shit. I hear people talk about it. I never really got into it. I even went back to it now. I still don't see a lot in it. I felt the same way when this album finally dropped. I had already listened to LMF. I listened to, he has a Valet feature, so of course
Crushed
I
Ice.
Instantly went there, and that song is nasty.
Oh, it's so good.
And then I listened to the album, and it still kind of fell flat for me. I liked aspects of it, but overall I wasn't enthralled with it. When I went to see Saba in Chicago, all the DJs played Smino, and then Smino ended up coming to the after party afterwards, and they were playing his music there, and it had the same effect on me as Future with Dirty Sprite 2. I was like into Future, but not a lot, until I heard it live from DJs and stuff, and then just hearing it in these moments made me like appreciate it more.
I've had so many times where that's happened,
and that's exactly what happened. I went back through this album, and it's just fucking, I can't get over it. Like, it's there's so many good songs off it. It's still very long, but this is one that's like, I'd only trim a couple songs off of, you know what I mean? Overall, like, not every song's like a 9 or anything, but there's still like, there's something to find in most of the songs. The album itself is very sexy. Like, I want to make a baby to this shit. And he has like such a ridiculous flow. He can sing like an angel, and then he's got like a really fast flow, and then just,
I'm gonna have to give this album another chance.
I recommend this one a lot. He's got some fucking slang, like in what was I listening to? I think it's Clink, which is one of my favorite songs. It might not even be that song, but he says some shit like, "Kush stank, it's real armpity." And it's like, you don't hear people speak like that. Because it's fucking crazy. But yeah, it's definitely one that, like I said, at first, I listened to it all the way through. It kept me interested enough to keep going, so that speaks something. But then after hearing it live and then going back and actually paying more attention to the songs, like the first several songs are super good. Yeah, if you want to pick two, LMF is just beautiful. Crushed Ice because Valet, but then like I think one of my other favorite ones is called like Z4L. It's just got he's got like a lot of different styles. I just watched him do a freestyle on LA Leakers, and even in his freestyle he switches up his flow, and his voice when he speaks is so gravelly, and then he can sing fucking good. He's like it's very all over the place, but in like the best way possible. Like a lot of different styles, a lot to keep you interested. Definitely still some songs that are sketchy and some sexy shit. So I definitely recommend
I'm going to give this a listen through tonight because I really didn't get that much out of it the first time I listened to it.
I feel like I said, it's number 5, but I don't remember besides like my 3 top ones. This one album, like, once I came back from Chicago, I listened to the songs I heard, and then I listened to it in full, and then now I've just been like going to that album and just hitting shuffle, and like besides I think like 3 songs, all of them I like a lot, some of them I fucking love. So it definitely people say Black Swan, but I say this is definitely the one to go for.
Coming in at number 5 for me is A Gun in the Teacher's Desk by Montana of 300.
I was waiting for it.
Coming in with a hot 8.5. This Montana of 300 is probably my favorite artist that I discovered this year.
I would agree.
I saw him.
I was there.
Yeah, one of the things
everyone remembers.
Yeah,
everyone in attendance remembers.
Everyone saw me fall in love with Montana of 300 because I was just the perfect amount of fucked up when he came out on stage. And I am a sucker for Chicago drill and Chicago trap. Like, that is just the shit that I like. It's the sound that I enjoy. That it's just what I'm about. And so literally a drill trapper, a drill trapper from Chicago shows up to Prof Outdoors, comes on stage with like 15 fucking dudes, his whole FGE squad that he has. And he just proceeds to unleash banger after banger after banger. And I'm just standing there in awe the entire time because this guy is rapping impeccably. He has these fantastic one-liners in all of his songs. He's singing in between too. And he's got these fantastic hooks on all of his songs. There wasn't a single song he played live that I did not enjoy and then also did not go home and find on Spotify later. This is his second project to come out this year. He also came out with a project, Speak to the Devil, that came out, which I guess is what he was touring on when we saw him perform at Prof Outdoors. And in my opinion, this is the better album overall, but the first album had better songs on it, like some individual songs. There's a song called Lambo on there. Dirtiest fucking song I've heard all year. Like, dirtiest beat, dirtiest lyrics, dirtiest everything. And it just gets me fucking going. Like, the first 5 songs on that album just are so fucking hard and catchy. It has Chase a Bag on there. It has Dancing with My AK on there. It just has all these really just good, solid songs. But this felt conceptually just more like a cohesive album overall. He said before he put the album out that there was a lot of like just little like insight lines and just like little treats that he threw in his little lines. And he's known for his wordplay. That's just one of the things that he's good at. One of the first songs that stands out to me is a song called Dippin' Sauce. The first bar of the chorus is, Shorty sees my sauce. I think that's why she wants a dip though. And he just keeps it has this real kind of like fun reggae beat to it without sounding like cliche reggae. It's still a rap song, but with a reggae beat. He has a very powerful singing voice when he sings. So some of the other songs stand out. There's Been a Beast, which was a single that came out around the time we saw him at Prof Outdoors, but that one is a certifiable fucking banger. If I ever hear that in public, I'm just going to be swinging arms and screaming at people. A couple of the other tracks that stand out are Art Class, the FGE Cypher Part 8. He does a FGE Cypher on a lot of his shit.
Oh, it sounds like it.
Yeah. So
I didn't think it went from 1 to 8.
Yeah, and so this is Part 8. The last song on the album, Bloodsport, is probably lyrically the best song I've ever heard from him because it really ends the album in a fantastic way because he's just rattling off about all these ideas that almost seem very like conscious in a way. One of the lines he says is, your mind is a gift, you can't use it unless you open it. And he has about 5 or 6 different bars in that song that are like that. But it's something where a lot of times, you know, he has that song Wife and You, which is very graphic
I'm aware.
and very incredible at the same time. But this is a very smart wordplay that he's doing on the end here. He has a lot of things where he's basically telling you, like, you have the power to be whatever you want to be. You can do whatever you want because I made myself the way I wanted to. And in like small ways, he describes his thought process for doing things. It's just a very smart. It's a very smart song from a rapper who creates very catchy songs at the same time, because a lot of times the two don't go hand in hand, especially in today's rap scene. And that's part of why I have such a goddamn admiration for this guy, because he's able to blend wordplay, catchiness, good beats, fantastic lyrics, thoughtful lyrics, insightful lyrics.
Sexy lyrics.
The sexiest, dirtiest lyrics I've ever heard a rapper sing in my life have come out of Montana of 300's mouth. He says some things sometimes. And that song Lambo, all he basically and when we get done counting this cash, though, she gonna ride daddy's dick like a Lambo.
Beautiful.
And yeah, so this is a shorter project. It's only 11 tracks long, which is a nice thing to have. That
sounds right.
Yeah, it sounds
that's
right.
What I think more people need to take up.
Yeah, and in a way, I think that's almost what gave it a higher rating, because if this was stuffed up with 14 to 16 songs, there was going to be some not good ones on there that were going to be would bring the score down. So I would say if you are interested in checking out Montana of 300, please do, and talk to me about it, because I will talk about Montana of 300 till the sun goes down. We can hang out, drink beers, listen to some Montana of 300. And I would say if you're interested in more just like individual songs from him, check out Pray for the Devil. But if you're going to look for a better album overall from him, definitely listen to A Gun in the Teacher's Desk, because it's this really well thought out just music piece. Everything ties together really, really well, and it has that beautiful closing at the end. And that's something I miss a lot from albums, because you talk about how the intro is so important. I always believe a good last song is very important, because the last song has to send a very strong statement. Your last song is almost your message statement of what the album is about, because this is the last piece. This is when the music fades and everything hits you of what you've just listened to. You need to leave a lasting impression, and to me, Bloodsport is the finest album finisher that has come out this year on an album, just because of how thought-provoking it is. And it's one of those songs where I meditate and I will think about lines from that song and how I can apply them to situations, what the song is really trying to say. It's one of those think pieces where you don't get a lot of those smart think pieces in rap these days.
All right. Coming in at a splendid number 4 for me. This is the perfect example of shorter is better, because I would have thought this would be lower, but here it is at a 7.7. Kanye West, yay. I will stand behind the statement I made previously. This is his worst project by far. But it grew on me like insanely.
Yeah, I've heard that a lot. I've heard that come out of your mouth a lot this year, that it's just really grown on you.
Because when I first listened to it, I literally thought this is the downward. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
this is where we mark spiral. Like this is when it fell off. And that's how I felt.
But it gave us one of the best songs of the year.
That is a big reason. Ghost Town obviously is like fucking incredible.
I can never listen to Ghost Town again without thinking of us screaming it drunkenly in the Mississippi River. It is.
Yeah.
I will always have that song tied to that memory. And that's part of what makes it so beautiful.
I agree fully.
Kanye gave it that to us.
But yeah, obviously this was part of his 7-song experiment. Also, Kids See Ghosts, I didn't include that on my list. I gave it a 7. I thought it was fine, but it's nothing crazy. This is better. I love the Thought About Killing You intro. I love it a lot. It is definitely one of the most like out of left field things you can put on the very beginning of a project.
Very, very bold choice for an intro.
Yeah, which I mean we've seen before with like On Site. Obviously that whole album has that tone, but that is by far like one of the most abrasive things you can start with, even for that album. But yeah, basically it just grew on me a lot. I think Wouldn't Leave is like a fucking gorgeous song. There's a lot of good songs on it. Yikes, or as I like to call it, Yikes.
Yeah, Yikes is very good.
Is very good as well. That one always makes me feel good about like my anxiety and shit. You know what I mean? At the end when he's like, I'm a superhero. You know what I mean? It's got that fucking song that's like, plus they already mad that the Cubs lost. Whatever the fuck that song is like the main one that I'm always like, oh. And the third one where he talks about we wouldn't be here without cum is unfortunate. There's some horrible lines in it. There's some he's gotten to a point where even on like Pablo and stuff, he's done like a lot of goofy, weird shit where you're like, okay, but then at the end of the day, you're still like, okay.
Yeah, fuck
like,
yeah.
I'm with it. This more than anything, like kind of solidifies it for me that despite all the shit surrounding him, he still can make good music. You know what I mean? Even if the project is underwhelming to others, like you still got Ghost Town. Yeah. Even if he's not making all the music, it's still working. You know what I mean? I still like it. Kind of renewed my faith in him because it went from being, and it still is, his worst project in my eyes to being something I do listen to a lot. And like I said, being 7 songs, it was able to get up there, and I stand behind it. I bought it on vinyl for $14.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
That's reasonable.
Yeah, it was the perfect price for me to be like, yeah, even for Ghost Town, I would pay 14 American dollars just for Ghost Town.
14 whole ones.
Yep.
Coming in at number 4 for me is actually Kids See Ghosts.
Perfect. I was wondering if that would happen.
So this album was very special for me just because I've always been a huge Kid Cudi fan. Ever since the very first Man on the Moon album came out, I've been starstruck with Kid Cudi. I've listened to every single thing.
Because you're a sad man.
I'm a very sad man.
Anytime someone's like, I really love Kid Cudi, I'm like, I'm sorry that you went through something.
Yeah, no,
at least one thing.
I still have a very hard time listening to some of his songs just because of the places I've been when he has been there for me. I never got
into him that much, but there are still those songs where they.
I can't listen to Troubled Boy off of his Satellite EP, and I can't listen to Mojo So Dope off of Man on the Moon too, just because they bring up a lot of painful things for me when I listen to them. But
I'll be sure to only play those around you.
At the same time, it is comforting when I listen to them, though, because it's like someone else had felt this kind of sad before, you know, so I'm not the only one.
Yep.
But so it's short and sweet, 7 songs. The only reason that this one did not score higher is because Ghost Town Part 2 is such fucking garbage that that's
probably why
infuriating.
It didn't make my list.
Honestly,
because of that song.
Literally, if we take a look at the rating I have here for it, pretty much almost everything every song got a 10 except Ghost Town Part 2 got a 2. Because there's like the little bit at the end is kind of cool, but I cannot put up with the I feel free.
Especially when you have the best song, Ghost Town, and you're just like.
And then this is the part 2.
You're throwing around 10s, crazy. That's why I was like, our scores are very different. I very rarely give 10s.
I give 10s when I really enjoy. Like here's my thing: if it's an album I'm listening to, perfect song that I'm going to listen to over and over again, it's automatically a 10. Okay. That's all there is to it. So with this, like a lot of these songs came out as solid 10s. I mean, we have a Kid See Ghost with Yasin Bey, who's the game, but who is Yasin Bey?
Now you just made me Mos Def.
Mos Def, yeah. So he was on there.
That was scary. Such a confusing thing that then I couldn't think of who it was.
It's got Fourth Dimension, which is a certifiable banger from both of them.
I did the thing where I downloaded the leak, so my song titles are fucked.
Yeah.
But what's the one with the Santa samples? Is that what you're talking
Fourth
about?
Dimension, with Louis Prima. It's
beautiful.
a goddamn slapper.
God, yeah.
Well, and then just
said I'm in the wrong hole. I said I'm lost. Yeah, that's my favorite song.
Well, and it's got a Pusha T feature, and we know how much I dick ride for Pusha T.
Oh, and we all know that it has the I just got strep throat again from doing that.
Well, and it's in my opinion, this, we first got a good taste of Kid Cudi on Welcome to Heartbreak because he was on Paranoid and Welcome to Heartbreak, and that kind of really it solidified those two artists for me as somebody who's going to be special to me for the rest of my life, because Welcome to Heartbreak was like phenomenal for me growing up. That was one of those albums that really shaped me as a kid.
Heartbreak.
Yeah,
I was like, what are we talking about? That unreleased Kanye album.
But to finally have like Kid Cudi and Kanye West put out a project, obviously a lot of high expectations there. Especially this was the third one in the summer rollout that he did, because it was Push, his, Kid See Ghost, Tiana Taylor, and Nas. That was the 5 that came out.
Yeah, I think Nas and Tiana were flipped, but yeah.
They were.
Because they fucked over.
Yeah, they fucked over Tiana Taylor.
We all love to fuck over Tiana.
Who wouldn't? Jesus, you could see her nipples when we saw her live.
I
wanted to bring it up because, good Lord, those puppies look
Everybody
nice.
had to take a foot back for boners.
Yeah. But like the second track, Fire, it has a lot of Kid Cudi hums, which is always fantastic.
That's one, not to interject, but Smino and that one song, he goes, hit her up, like Kid Cudi. what is it now? Now I fucked it. I interjected to fuck it up. Hit her up like, come through for a little cutty. Hit her up like, come through for a little cutty.
I like that.
Yeah, I fucking love it.
But this also has Cutty Montage is the very last song on there, and that was a song that when I really hit like my mental breaking point this year, like that was the song that really kind of carried me.
That's with like the acoustic guitar one.
Yeah, with the Kurt Cobain
See, that's
sample.
what my sample one or Santa one is called.
Oh,
so
okay.
I can't.
Okay,
even
so
do
Cutty Montage is the one with the acoustic sample in the beginning. The lyrics to Cutty's bit alone just cut me really, really deep, just because where he's coming from, where he's talking about like just having to live to the standard you have set in life while still dealing with this horrible depression. And Kanye's bit is very just out there, just about finding peace. And the chorus where they're just saying, stay strong, that really just spoke to me a lot where I was at, just because, you know, Cutty has always resonated with me when I'm going through something or my depression is really bad. And to be at my mentally lowest point, and literally lowest point in life, and to have this album drop and to have that song specifically on there, it felt like that's right where my emotional state was at when that song came out. And I still have a somewhat hard time listening to that track all the way through, just because I remember where I was when that song meant so much to me. And it hurts a very deep place, but that's also what makes this a very solid top 5 album for me, is the fact that it's an album that is something I've wanted for a very long time. It was executed very well, except for, you know, some small mentions in there. And it just finishes so very, very strong with the Cutty Montage song. I honestly think that's one of the best songs that has come out this year, is Cutty Montage.
Yeah.
And so that landed with a hot 8.5 for me coming out of the gate.
Yeah, and I think, again, that one is another example of benefiting from being short. Like,
yeah, absolutely. Just because it's something where, you know, you don't always need to have all these long songs to make a good album.
No.
And look at how often this album has come up on a lot of end of the year lists for being one of the best albums of the year. You know, it just goes to show that sometimes it is more about the quality than the quantity.
Yeah, like I said, I gave it a 7, so it definitely could have made my list, but I just wasn't as crazy about it. All right, now getting into the top 3, the good.
Yeah, the top 3 is where
I
we're
love my top 3.
I got extensive
I wish I
notes.
could also put that Smino album in the top 3. I think I probably should have put it over Ye, if we're being honest, but here we are.
Yeah, we're here.
So,
we're already recording. We've dedicated ourselves.
Number 3 coming in at 8.1 is Tierra Whack World.
I love this so much.
I love this so much because everybody will say it, and I agree. I'm not a fan of female rappers.
Yeah, and that's what is so striking to me about this. You've been very adamant about that for a long time.
It's not like, I don't want to say it's like personal. I just hate women rappers, but a lot of them aren't very interesting to me.
No,
there's not a lot of
they're just not
substance.
very good.
They're so overly sexual, like Nicki Minaj and shit.
Yeah, like if I got to hear Nicki Minaj rap about her fucking pussy one more time,
know.
it's just like.
So this is like, I know one person who was also into this, but basically it is a 15-song project. Each song is 1 minute long. It has, the best way to take this album in is to watch the video. It's all the songs have a different music video, but they're all streamed together. So it's
one 15-minute video.
15-minute video on YouTube. Just look up Tierra Whack World. The reason I found this was from Brockhampton's radio show. They played Bug's Life on it, and it was only a minute long. I thought they cut it, just switching out songs. So I found the song, and then I was like, oh, it's a minute long. But I looked at the album, but I never listened to it, so I didn't realize that the concept was every song is a minute long. So then eventually I was trying to find if that had a music video, and I found the video for the whole project, and I didn't understand why it was 15 minutes. And it starts off with this, she's sitting at like a desk with like a nail salon thing, and she has a hoodie, and the hoodie is over her face, and it has like felt like her face. It's very hard to explain, but it's the first thing you see. And it starts off the album, and then it just goes into each song. So I watched the whole thing, and I was blown away. Like, as far as like a creative project in 2018, this is the most creative thing. Every song's 1 minute long, which sounds dumb, or
it sounds like rushed, or like
rushed, or
it couldn't be executed this way by anyone else.
No, and I didn't think it could be executed well. The songs feel like full songs, you know what I mean? A lot of them have choruses, and it's not like it just jumps in the middle of songs. A lot of them have a beginning, they have hooks. It feels like it just got cut off.
And name one other rapper who can incorporate country as well as she does into her shit.
That is my 2 favorite songs off this. If I try to pick 2 for everything, I could pick a bunch, obviously. Bug's Life, that's the one I found. I still love it. And then Fuck Off, which is like a country song. And at first it's like kind of fun and you can tell it's country. And then she goes into a hard country accent for the second half.
Yeah.
And it's fucking amazing. There's also a song, I forget which one what the name is, but it's the one that's like, he likes my diamonds and my pearls. I say thank you, I designed them. Just that, like, that was stuck in my head after the first listen. There's like 2 songs that I'm not big on, but they're still really good. Like I said, just the way that, like, to be able to make it a 1-minute song and make it feel complete, you know what I mean?
That's a special kind of talent.
Don't like very short songs, you know, like it feels like there's something missing. Like I want more of it. These I would take more, but I don't need it. You know what I mean? And I can't think of any other 1-minute song besides like punk bands where you know like that's what you're getting, that's to be expected. In common rap, R&B, whatever, because that's the other thing is she's got some fucking hard raps on it. She's got some beautiful singy songs. She's got some like slow. She's got some like, she reminds me of like Andre 3000. Then she reminds me of Danny Brown. You know what I mean? There's so many styles. She was just on Funkmaster Flex and spit like a hard freestyle.
Yeah, I saw that. That was impressive.
She's like rapping her ass off. So I'm like, she can also like rap. So it's got like everything. And for it to be in 1 minute and to feel complete, to feel satisfied. And you can play this album 4 times in an hour, which I had done just nonstop because like, run it the fuck back, or just single songs. Like it just feels so easy to like pepper them in. Like it makes me think maybe shorter songs are better. There's other artists that we'll get to that make beautiful short songs, but this, for such a specific concept, like you said, that on paper you would say that will never work. This is just incredible. Like as far as from a creative standpoint, from something different and so many different styles and different concepts, like this could be a #1 album for that.
Now, there's going to be a recurring theme for my last 3 albums, just in the sense...
They all suck.
No, well, just in the sense that my top 3 are albums that really got me through everything I went through this year. These are the albums I was spinning when, like, shit hit the fan, shit kept getting worse. This was the soundtrack to my... I guess you call it my evolution this year. This is what I listened to grieve and to get through everything.
This was your welcome to heartbreak.
Yeah, pretty much. So going into these last 3, there is going to be a little bit of explanation about everything. This one is probably going to hit you in a very strange way. You're not going to like this one bit. Coming in at number 3 with a score that surprised the hell out of me, making it into number 3 is "I Want to Die in New Orleans" by the Suicide Boys. Yeah. I've always been. We all know.
All right, we'll be cutting your mic off now. You can also get back. You're like getting in there, like
you're really in there. So this was an album where Suicide Boys aren't really known for putting out albums.
Good
really.
Music, yeah, I know.
Okay. Is this all this is gonna be?
I'm done, but I had to get it out.
Okay, thank you.
I thought it was gonna be Post Malone. So
really.
Just because the way you said that, like I'm gonna have to explain it to you.
You gotta have more respect for me.
Well, I'll catch you listening to Post Malone.
I like some Post Malone songs.
Stop yelling at me about Post Malone. You take a step back.
Okay, I'll take a step
before
back.
I tattoo "Always Tired" on your eyelids.
Might as fucking well. So this album came in with an 8.6 for me. Yeah, which is surprising because normally they put out like EPs, like 4 or 5 songs at a time, and they have a whole extensive series of EPs that they put out.
I've read the titles.
Yeah, when you look and a lot of times there's just such a vast amount of music that they have that you can get into that is almost daunting to try to find a place to really get into them. But this is an actual proper album that they put out. So that's part of what intrigued me about the project at first was, this isn't like a single or like 3 tracks. This is a full project that they've decided to take on. And so I was curious. I thought, what if Suicide Boys made an album? How would it go?
It's like a clickbait headline.
If Suicide Boys made an album, how would it go? And so right off the bat, the first track, King Tulip, it's a very, very solid intro. Not like a super memorable song, but when you're listening to it, you're like, it gives you a good taste for where you're going to start. What makes this such an impressive album thematically is that there is there's always a central theme to Suicide Boys, which is, you know, heavy drug use, wanting to kill yourself, very negative, depressed shit.
Interesting.
With a lot of bravosity thrown in, a lot of bragging about where they're at now. The segues on this album are really fantastic. They're part of what really sold me, is because when you listen to it, you can pick out the individual songs, but when you listen to it as a whole, it tells this story of like where they come from and who they are and why they are the way they are. You know, it's really an album where you listen to the words, and yes, there is a lot of the, you know, drug references, and Ruby Da Cherry is a thematically better rapper than Scrim. Scrim has that he's the one with the lower voice. The
very dirty looking
the
man.
Very dirty looking man.
I'm familiar.
But Ruby tends to have the better flows. He's much better with the wordplay. He's overall the better rapper in the group, in my opinion. But Scrim also makes most of their beats, so it is an interesting dynamic to see that while his raps may not be as strong, he handles the production very, very well. From the first two songs, the second song is one of the top two I picked out. It's called Bring Out Your Dead, and it just has this nasty driving beat that starts in the outro of King Tulip. And what the outro is it's a news clip saying like, and there's reporters of cops being shot in the 3rd Ward, and we go live to Lisa, who's on the scene. Lisa, what can you tell us? Tom, I'm here in the 11th Ward where shots have been fired at police. They initially believed there was 2 suspects. And as she's talking, the bass, it goes and then she goes, and they believe there was a 3rd suspect. Bow, bow, and it just smacks into the next song. And every time I hear it, I want to like throw shit and like hit shit. I did a really hard shoot dance to it in the house one day, and I think I threw my shoulder out listening just to the intro of this song.
Heard you shot out your window.
I also shot out my window. And there is moments on this album where it drags. The 3rd track, Nicotine Patches, completely falls off for me. That's where I was like, that really sucks, because 2 was such a banger. That I was worried that the album wasn't going to go anywhere. But as I listened to it more and more, I found songs that I really just enjoyed for where I was at in the moment, because I was doing a lot of fucked up shit this summer, and I was doing a lot of crazy behaviors, and this was sort of a small soundtrack for the craziness that I was doing. What I found with my top 3 albums is they each represent an emotional way that I felt this year encompassed into who I was, and this really represented the crazy, going out and partying, but like hating myself so much at the same time that I just wanted to die. And that's where this really resonated with me, was I was so depressed, but I was trying to party and live a braggart lifestyle at the same time.
Oh, I'm familiar.
Yeah. The 11th track on the album is called Meet Mr. Nice Guy, which is a completely stylistic change up for these guys in probably the best way possible, just because it's a slow song, but not in the way that you're thinking. You know, like, you know, when you think of like a slow rap song, you think of like what Post Malone does or something. There's still rapping in this song, but it's a very depressing, but it's a very pretty sounding beat at the same time. I guess the song was inspired by Ruby's breakup with his girlfriend, where they had been dating for 5 years, and she broke up with him because he literally just won't stop doing drugs and getting high all the time. And so that's where a lot of his pain came out on this album in that way, which was obviously not my situation that I was in. Debatable.
I've heard different.
Yeah, we've all heard different things. But just both of the verses on that song really resonated with me. I actually am going to say this because I say everything publicly that embarrasses me on the show. I cried a lot to a Suicide Boys song this summer, just because
I've lost the last shred of respect and decency I had for you.
It really just
it took this long.
That song really just hit me in a really hard way.
You sobbing.
Well, it's not even like, well, and that's what's crazy is because the next song that comes after it is called Carrollton, and Carrollton is a fucking slapper. Like, it's a really fast, dark, heavy song. And so I would get like all up in my emotions and like really sad during Meet Mr. Nice Guy, and then Carrollton would come on and I'd be like, fuck bitches, get money, and I'd go back to doing what I was doing. Overall, the album came out with a 8.6 for me, just because, like I said, there is a lot of very solid bangers on here. Something that does detract from it, though, is that in a lot of ways their stuff can get repetitive sometimes. Yeah. The sound they make can get repetitive, but there's several sonically sounding things on this album that really stood out for me, where I was actually really impressed that they could create such a cohesive album with a central theme running to it, while still maintaining their identity and not making it sound like something that was forced or something that was too out there, you know?
Yeah.
If you listen to the songs individually, they're Suicide Boys songs. But when you listen to it as a whole, complete album, it paints this really tortured picture of just two young men and the circumstances that made them, the things they've gone through in life, which resonated with me a lot this summer. So, like I said, this was the soundtrack to my fucked up party pain that I had all summer. So, yeah,
Beautiful.
that is my number 3.
All right. Coming in at number 2 for me should not be a surprise whatsoever. Got a 8.5 and is another glowing example of why short projects rule. But even if it was 100 songs, it
Can I
probably would
guess
have been
what it
number
is?
2. You want to?
Valet?
Yeah, it's Valet.
Yeah,
Good
fucking
job,
Valet. You found me.
6 songs. I want to say it sparked the idea for Kanye to do his 7-song
Yeah.
run. Definitely should have involved Valet in your 7-song run, or just let him keep making music and actually releasing it. But
I want that remix of I
either-
Love It with Valet on it.
He's
Because you know he says some nasty, braggy things
I
on
know.
that.
oh my god, I know.
Took
and
your bitch to
he was
the
on-
stuff.
his features, he keeps being on garbage rappers' songs. He was
Yeah.
on a Kid Ink song today.
Why?
And he talks about changing a tire in Off-White. And it's just shit like that. Like, we've obviously been all about Valet.
Yeah, if you've listened to us at all, you know that we would just suck his dick if he
gigantic
was
fan.
here.
But, like, the two things that just sell him as definitely my rapper of the year.
Oh,
like,
yeah,
he
he's
should
rapper
be
of the year for me.
tremendously bigger, if you haven't noticed, from everybody ripping him off. But the two things about him is that fucking flow that just like
It's
very,
impeccable.
It's like he's not even trying.
It's his own flow,
Yeah.
but like, and that's what he sticks with. He sticks with that
and that's
one flow.
why everybody
but-
takes it. But
but-
he's still got, like, he switches it up,
Yeah.
but just more of that voice, and then just the like.
Him on that TM88
Oh.
song that just came out
Yeah.
with Lil Yachty
Mhm.
on it. Good lord.
Well, that's what, like, obviously
I
a
treat my
lot
bitch
of
better than Petco.
a lot of rap is about bragging. These are the most flamboyant, exotic flexes I've ever heard anyone talk about.
Valet is
in
literally
such
the
a-
embodiment of odd flex, but okay.
Yeah, it's just
Like hit me
insane.
with a Valet flex.
I don't even. I can't even think.
I treat a bitch better than Petco.
Yeah, I always think of and shout out Kurt. I know it's his favorite Valet song, VTL, where it's like, pay $200 for some socks and I don't know where they're the hell at. Just little shit like that.
Yeah.
Where I feel like other rappers would be like, look at my socks, and he's like, yeah, I did it and I forgot about it.
Yeah.
Next thing. Got a bitch in Wisconsin, not too far,
Far
from where the Dells at.
at.
And all the dogs.
Bought a bitch a Yorkie.
Bought the bitch a Yorkie puppy. She ain't even clipped the nails yet. It's just little shit like that. So this fucking project has Gin and Juice, which on first listen, and I stand behind it being the weakest song on the
Yeah.
project. Still not a weak song. When I first heard it, it did concern me. It's one of those where it definitely, a different song could have been the first song, and I was like, oh, what if it isn't good? Because he's had like two or three full mixtapes and a lot of loose songs, which this, if you listen to him prior to this, only half of this is new, half of them are rehashed.
Yeah, like it
same
has
songs.
Miami with Pusha T on there. It has Skinny.
Shell, and well, Skinny was new. Valone, Miami, Shell, I think were the three
I
that
love
had come out.
Valone.
Or I Got Whatever, which is incredible. But yeah, that's what it is. Gin and Juice, which is solid. I Got Whatever, which is one of my favorite songs by him. Shell, which is the song that introduced me to him and is incredible. Miami with the Pusha T remix.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Valone, beautiful because it's different.
Very, very beautiful,
Progress-
very slow. That
And then-
was one of my sad songs this summer when I would be like, just want to be introspective and reflect. I'd pop Valone on for a couple spins.
And then fucking Skinny.
Oh
which
God,
is just
Skinny is
insane. Yeah, that's like I was listening to the album, and like I said, I had already heard 3 of the songs, and I'd heard a clip of Valone because he put a clip of the video, of course, months before it came out, because he just never gets to release music, so I was familiar with that. But Skinny, just boom, I threw 60 racks and it came back like right off the bat, and I was just like, oh my fucking god.
And hearing it live was phenomenal.
Yeah, and he's not a great live performer. We've
No,
been over this.
we
He's gotten better. I've seen him 3 times, and it's progressively getting better. But his music is that good.
It
that
is just
doesn't
so
even fucking
Well, like
matter.
we were turning up and screaming all the words to
Yeah.
his songs, and he didn't even rap all of
Yeah.
them. We rapped his songs more than
yeah,
he did.
He barely raps at all. And it's like, one of the tropes with new rappers is they don't perform well. Like I said, he's getting better. It doesn't fucking matter. Like, he just cannot miss. Like, this project is too short because, like, give me 100 Valet songs. If they're produced by Chase the Money, it's only sweeter.
Yeah,
and
well, that's what's so good.
200 songs together.
Yeah, that's what's so great about that.
unreleased.
That's what's so great about that one album he has is it's just an album of Chase the Money beats with him on top.
Yeah, and that shit is insane too. Like that's what yeah, I haven't really heard a Valet song that I'm not fond of, except the one with Vic Mensa, but I'm gonna chalk that up to Vic Mensa.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of Awesome, to be honest with you. I really don't like that one.
I like it. I hate when it starts because it is the exact same 808 hit as Skinny, so it goes boom, and we all go to scream, and then it's just the. I like Awesome. I'm not mad at it. Some of them are not as great as others, but like we were just talking about before this, he has countless songs that he puts videos on Twitter, just like snippets of them that I rip and put on my shit and listen to him, like all that. Like he has so many songs, like this should have had like Womp Womp on it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Which that at least is getting the praise. Every fucking rapper is ripping him off and he's not getting the fucking credits.
No,
People
and
still
it
don't know
sucks.
who he is.
Yeah.
He's on good music. He should have a song with Kanye if that's what's going to help him.
Yeah.
Something to get him out there. Get more. Bring him out more.
Valet
should have brought him out to play Miami at the
He
show.
should have.
Like, you need to get, like...
Well, and Valet is supposed to be on Yandhi when it drops. He's supposed to have a feature on Yandhi.
But who fucking knows? Because that
this
keeps
point,
getting pushed back. 6ix9ine is also supposed to have a feature on him. But, like, yeah, Valet is definitely Rapper of the Year. It should be apparent if you pay attention to rap music. You should know who Valet
he is
should see
the Dapper Dad's
everybody.
vote for Rapper
All
of
of
the
your
Year.
big rappers this year are taking shit from him. Little
Yeah.
Pump, 6ix9ine, all the shit.
Even
that
Tyler,
you
the
hear.
Creator, on fucking Okra ripped off Valet.
Exactly, Valet. And someone tweeted him, like, that's like, you should rap with Valet because you sound like it. And he was like, basically, he's like, yeah, that is what I was doing. Like, you cannot deny it. And like, if someone's influencing people that much, it should be a force to.
I really hope 2019 is the year of Valet. To be honest with you,
and like, yeah, man, I was happy that he signed to Good Music. It clearly, like, his manager is Andrew Barber from Fake Short Drive. I believe he is sound and knows what he's doing. But Good Music, you've seen it forever, has the worst trajectory of like doing anything with their roster. Look at Tiana Taylor. They just fucked her over constantly. Look at Sci-Hi the Prince, who fucking we waited like a decade for an album for. You know what I mean?
And
like,
that's one of my honorable mentions is Sci-Hi's. His was a very good
and it
project.
was a good album, but it took too long, and that always takes away from me. And you've got someone like right now, like this is one of the best artists that's been on Good Music in a long time.
Yeah.
Like it should be way bigger, and he constantly tweets every week because people are like, we want more shit, and he's like, I've got 200 songs with Chase the Money. I've got mixtapes already ready to go. Like this shit took forever to come out, and half the songs are. They did a good job of putting it out there, taking his best songs. Like it clearly was executive produced well. But like, let's go. You know what I mean? Why in this day and age, like there is too much music. You can't also in the same vein stop your artists from putting out music.
Right,
they have to be able to keep up.
Like I get
and
trying to create
enough.
like demand and like exclusivity and shit like that, but it's getting ridiculous at this point.
If from like an average perspective, the most people have heard from Valet is this project and Womp Womp. They're not like me. You know what I mean? They're not getting ripping the Kid Ink feature and then deleting his parts.
Yeah.
They're not taking the weird Twitter videos. He's shooting fucking videos for full-fledged songs that are bangers, and then they just sit on Twitter and people kind of fuck with them if they're like us. Like, get this motherfucker out here. Like, I cannot speak highly enough about Valet. He should be like Pump and 6ix9ine and all these
like he
kids.
should be like famous as fuck right now.
He's just a goddamn angel. Like, you watch interviews with him. He's
just like the nicest human being.
Yeah, he has the puppies. He
likes building things. He built a bar.
Wanted to build a bar. That's why Andrew Barber manages him, because he said, I want to build a bar in your house. He built himself a koi pond. He likes fucking with like little RC cars, making them, and he just talks so sweet. He's also like almost 30, which is weird for, nowadays it's mostly young rappers. Everything about Valet makes me happy. He's a fucking great rapper. He should be out there more. So if you somehow haven't listened to Valet, but listen to us all the time,
please listen to Valet.
Go bang Valet loud out of your cars. I know it's winter, but
everyone. Do it for everyone. Do it at work. Take your lunch in your car at work. Play Valet as loud as you can in the parking lot.
Yeah, but yeah, this is, like I said, an example of a shorter project ranking really high, but I completely would take Short out of the equation. Like I said, if it was more songs, I think it would still be top 5, because I haven't heard a lot of songs by him that I'm mad about.
And everything I've heard Valet I fucking love.
Yeah, he's just a goddamn angel.
So coming in at number 2 for me, interestingly enough, is Pookie Baby by Prof.
That got up there high.
Scored a 9.3 for me. Number 1 is a 10 out of 10, but this is a...
I don't think that's right, but...
No, it's very right. We'll get into it.
Crunch the numbers.
This was just a very, very strong album for me overall. Obviously, I've been turned into a full-fledged Prof fan this year.
It didn't take much.
No, it didn't take much at all.
How did you feel before seeing him live? Did you listen to a bunch of them?
So what I did is I would really listen to him upon your recommendation, like whenever you would mention him.
I've only been trying for 8 years.
Well, I would listen to him.
Back when I was 29, I started really repping him. So.
Well, I would still listen to him, but seeing him live really changes everything, because
that's what I always want to stress to people.
Like, because his music is very, very good. Like, and I've introduced so many people to Prof. I was in fucking Skokie for training for work, and I stopped at a restaurant for lunch, and a guy said, "Now I gotta know about that." It was like an old man. He's like, "I gotta know about that hoodie because I call my wife Pookie Baby." And I was like,
gross.
I was like, it's probably not the type of music that you would listen to, but if you want to give it a listen, go ahead and look it up. I obviously like him enough that I wear his merchandise everywhere, so I can say that he's good, but he might not be up your alley. He goes, "Well, I'm always open to new things." I said, I'll give it a shot, see what you think.
One of the few rappers that I have seen, like, older people embrace, like people I'm friends with on Facebook that I never would have guessed will post a Prof video. So I feel like it is pretty accessible.
Well, and I've shown him to so many people this year that I feel like I'm like you in a way now. I'm responsible for...
See, what I've done is pass it off to other people to do it, because I've done it for a long time.
Well, and so it's... It does. It's like you mentioned earlier. There is things that stand to be left to be desired on there. Like, I've cooked crack before, not a big fan of that. Designated Hitter, not a big fan of that. I like his slower songs when they're done better, I guess you could say, because I know he can do.
A nice way of putting it.
Well, I know he's capable of
don't
better.
Don't yell at me about it. You're coming in hot. We can't get you all worked up.
And it does have a couple of songs that came out well before the album that got, we banged them so much that it got a little, like Time Bomb. And
that's what I seen him on the Time Bomb tour, which I feel like was 2 years ago. So I've been hearing that song forever, and I was honestly, it was never one of my favorites.
But in the context of the album,
when I listened back through the album, I was like, okay, this is fitting now.
Yeah, finally. It makes sense. One of the songs that really stood out for me that was surprising was "Be Around," the kind of slow, fun one.
I like that one a lot.
Yeah, because it was very different for him. It's like he definitely put himself out there to try something different, and it really paid off really well.
Yeah, and the girl on that sings very well.
I know, and it's just it's just a really cute song. It's one of those things.
Especially the back and forth on the final.
Yeah, I love that so much.
Cute,
I was reading along with the lyrics when I was listening to this and rating it, and I was like, man, this song is just it's so sugary sweet that it's almost sickening.
I forget about that one, but it definitely is one I like a lot.
And then obviously like No and Action are big standouts from that one. I did love Time Bomb. Light Work is a big standout from that album, just because the flows on it, all the videos he's rolled out for this are fantastic. Now I will disagree with you, and I will say that Focus is probably one of my favorite Prof songs, which is, and it's because lyrically what I was going through with this, because this album paints a really interesting picture of, in my opinion, what this album is it's the story of someone who's in love with someone, and it goes through a lot of the different emotions that you feel through it. And the end of the album tells a very interesting story, in my opinion. When you listen to Criminal, Focus, Minneapolis, and Eulogy all together, in my mind, maybe it's where I was at when this album came out, maybe it's just the way I tend to interpret things, but Criminal and Focus tell a beautiful two-part story that's together, because Criminal is very sad and very sexy at the same time. It has a very, it's like a burning fire kind of desire to that song. Like, whenever I like kind of close my eyes and listen to it, I can see like a low lit fire in like a very dark room. It's like a very burning kind of passion song. But Focus comes in, and it's this very like disparate sounding song. It's very, it has like, there's like that kind of, it sounds like cranes in the background at one point where it's like that ooh, ooh, and there's a lot of ambience to it, but there's also a sense of urgency to what he's saying in the song, because like I relate to where he's like, if I had to crawl on my knees through broken glass, that I'd be on my way. Like, there was a point in time where I was that type of desperately like sad and longing and stuff like that, and I really just felt for Prof in the last bit of this album, because with Criminal you have this like burning desire, and with Focus is almost like the outpouring of that desire with nowhere to go, is what it sounds like. And it really just embodies that desperateness of like having this outpouring of emotion that you can't do anything with. And then it just runs into Minneapolis, which is just this incredible brag about where he's from. And in a way, because it's like, you listen to the first bit and he's like kind of swaggerific, talking about being Pookie Baby, you got Time Bomb, Light Work, and then it goes into this sort of soft middle section where you have Be Around, I've Cooked Crack Before, Designated Hitter, and then it starts getting a little harder again in the middle. You have No with Cashanova. We need more Cash music in 2019.
Yeah,
we need
it's
Cash
coming.
we need Cash on Spotify
Big
in
Dragon,
2019.
maybe is what it's called.
It just needs to come out. And then you just have this 4-song bit at the end that ends with Eulogy, which is a very fitting album closer.
Yeah.
Again, just a fantastic way to end an album. But the story that was just told through the last couple songs just really meant so much to me that I was very moved by it, just because it's like, this is a rapper that I respect, Prof, like as a person. Like I would love to meet him and talk with him, just because it's like he has impacted me so much as a person just this year alone. And this album really just honed in on a lot of things that I was feeling. And so when I listened to it, it in a way mirrored what I was going through in a lot of ways, but in a lot of other ways, it also made me feel very comforted at the same time, because it's like, a Prof is familiar. He makes me feel good. And with my boys, we're listening to Prof. We're having a good time. And it's the mix of emotional resonance and just the fact that it's Prof that I think is why this scored so high, because it's very hard for me to listen to Prof and not give things just very, very good ratings overall. So yeah, that's why Pookie Baby came in at number 2 for me.
Beautiful. Yeah, it is a great album. That Criminal video is maybe my favorite video he's ever put out. And that Eulogy video, he goes through the river where he dumped his dad's ashes in real life. So that's what I mean. It's one of the few artists that can actually make some really, really real shit, especially in rap.
Well, and that's the thing about it too, is that even with all of his braggerness, he's still very genuine. Like,
oh yeah,
you understand that Prof is a character and that it's not who this person is, but at the same time, it's so relatable and believable that it's like the man can throw his own goddamn festival in his hometown every year. You know?
Exactly. All right, folks, then here it is, number 1 album of the year. Sweet little drum roll.
I bet I know what it is.
I've literally told you endlessly. I've told a lot of people. It shouldn't be too surprising. But coming in at an 8.9 is Saba, Care For Me. This is great on many levels for me. In a similar vein to Smino, I was never really a Saba fan. Obviously, he's done a lot of songs with Chance, and I've liked what he's done on them.
I remember I really wanted to get into his first album, but I just never got around to really digging deep into it.
I listened to it when it came out, the Bucket List Project. I took some songs from it. I love West Side Bound 3 and Stony. I still love those songs. But overall, yeah, it was a project that I was like, I see why this is, going well, why people like it, but it just wasn't really up my alley. And to be completely honest, when this came out, I had absolutely no interest in it. I probably would have gotten around to listening to it sooner or later. Chance had a verse on it, and Chance wasn't putting out music like he loves to do. Yeah. So I listened to it, and I at first was like, what the fuck? Because on its Logout, which is the one where Saba's like, if you press Logout, you get forgotten. And I was like, this, I was like, is this Saba? Like, it didn't even. Yeah,
it just sounds so very different from anything you've heard.
I've never
before.
Really hear him do like fast raps and different inflections, but not like that. And this specifically, that part reminds me of In Nights by Frank Ocean.
Yeah,
this feels a lot of moments in this, and not to take away from anything in this album standing on its own, but this to me feels like one of the first like post Blonde albums where you can tell there's a lot of Blonde influence on there. And not to be, like I said, this, it stands on its own. Even if I had never heard Blonde, I feel like this album's incredible, but you can take notes, and specifically in that is like the chorus in Nights where it has that same so yeah, and then Chance's verse isn't very interesting on that song whatsoever. So then I was like, and I let it play, and it went to the next song, which is Gray, which is a good song. It kept me interested. I wasn't like, still not huge. It's definitely one of the lower points on the album for me. I still like it, but lower. Then it goes into Prom King, which I had already known the story. His cousin was also a rapper.
Yeah, that is a hard song to listen to all the way through, honestly. It is. This album is very, because I will agree that this is one of the top projects of the year. I knew you were going to harp on it quite a bit, so I left it off of my list, but it's very emotional to listen to. That's I think it just blends together so well, and the sense of mood that it creates is something that is very, that's what makes it most Blonde-esque to me, because Blonde was a mood. Like there was a that album was a mood. This album is also a mood, but in a way Something that I've always found really interesting in my mind is when the album art really reflects what the album sounds like in my mind. Those are always projects that I really enjoy. And this album, it's very colorful in a lot of ways, but the emotion that it paints is very gray and dark and black and white. And just that picture of him on the album cover just kind of sitting there, you can almost palpably feel what he's feeling in. Like, you can almost get where his headspace is at when that photo was taken when you listen to the album.
Exactly. But yeah, this goes in. I listened to it. It went into Prom King. The story is that his cousin also rapped with him. They're in a group called Pivot Gang. His cousin was murdered in Chicago over a coat. So I obviously listened to this album out of order. This Prom King is a 8-minute song with 2 parts, Prom and King. Not blow the whole thing, but essentially the first part is talking about how he didn't really know his cousin. He needed a date to go to prom. His cousin randomly sent him a girl that he knew and told him to call her and they could go to prom together, and he was weirded out by that because they never got along. Long story short, he ends up going with the girl. They realize they live down the street. They go to schools that are close to each other, but they live different lives and they'd never even been in each other's homes. And then they become friends through that. And at the end of the first verse, he goes to an after party with the girl and he's waiting for his cousin to show up, and then someone gets close to him, puts a knife to him, says he's the girl's brother, and if Saba fucks the girl over, he'll kill him with a knife. Then it cuts, you hear like a dialogue between him and Walter, his cousin, and then it comes in crazy and it's talking about all this beautiful shit between him and Walt making music, and then it talks about how someone shot up his cousin's car. They're fine. Then the one line that always hits me in that is like, my boy walked away unharmed and we did Lollapalooza, because that feels so beautiful. You know what I mean? He almost died and now you're doing fucking Lollapalooza. So then it keeps going and the beat begins to get so fucking crazy and disorienting, and he's going through it. And on first listen, I was just like, what is going on? And then it gives me chills right now talking about it, and hearing it is crazy. He talks about like going to the studio and he gets a call from an unknown number. He answers it, and it's a voice asking if they'd seen him. He was just on the train. And the last part is, we got in the car, but we didn't know where to drive to. Fuck it, wherever you are, we'll come and find you. And then it gets real soft, and then it samples his cousin who passed away, and it's just another day in the ghetto. Oh, the streets bring sorrow. Can't get up to date with my schedule. I just hope I make it to tomorrow. And that part fades out. And then, so I listened to this. Heavy. I was just like, what the fuck? It's one of... You don't hear a lot of good storytelling rap nowadays, and I don't think it's super necessary anymore because people don't do it well. This is in years the best like story-driven song I've ever heard. Then it goes into the next song, which is Heaven All Around Me, which is from the perspective of being dead and not realizing it, which took me several listens to even, it's just a good song. And then I realized like what he's actually talking about. But yeah, so I listened to that, and then I jumped to the front of the album, so I fucked it all up. But then the beginning, Busy Sirens, is just
Busy Siren, the amount of times I've cried to that song.
Yeah, it's just like...
I'm having a busy
Yeah, and then at the end, the shift in the end, and then the second song, Broken Girls, is good too. Life, the third song, is a banger.
Yeah.
And that's what I read a really good write-up about this, and it starts off talking about Prom King, and it's like, this is the point when you realize like his cousin Walter died, but Saba told us that in the first song.
Yeah.
In almost every song there's a lot of like hints, even in like calligraphy. He's like, I'm not mad at God, I just can't get out of bed. My best friend's obituary really hang on my wall by my dresser. And just, there's so much grief and so much like, I don't even know, man. There's just so many parts of this album that's just incredible. It came out in April, and literally by May I was like, I feel like this is already my album of the year. When Pookie Baby came out, I remember everybody being like, this might be album of the year. And I was like, I fuck with the Saba album more. And it is one of those things where it's beautiful because I never really had an interest in Saba. This like just takes the cake. There's so many emotions to it. There's so much like, it's hard. It must be hard. I can't speak on it, to take such a tragic event. His grandpa died like a month after his cousin too, and he went through a bunch of shit. And to be able to at least make the most of it by creating a body of work like this that is just like raw and passionate.
It's almost honoring to them in a way. You know?
It feels like it would be. And he said, and like, it's all produced by him and 2 other people. There's no other random, and they would just sit in a room and come up with shit. And they said they turned the album out really quick, and it came out of nowhere. And then there's still like very beautiful, uplifting moments on it, like "Smile." "Smile" is such a gorgeous song. So that's right in the middle.
You can't not feel good when you listen to that song. It sounds cheesy, but you can't not smile when you listen to "Smile."
Yeah, and that's why, and even "Heaven All Around Me" being such a sad song about not realizing you're dead and like putting your hands to the walls and all the tropes of being a ghost, still has a beautiful, like, it feels like complete. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That feels like a funeral song because it's like, I can't feel pain. I can see the stars. Everything's okay. You know what I mean? It feels like the perfect bow on this project to get through so much of that and still be able to find, you know what I mean? I think a lot of people would have put like "Prom King" as the last song.
Yeah.
Left it like, this is what I've been talking about, intertwined it, but to put it on like a sad but still beautiful note. I think it's hard to make a sad, beautiful song.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of songs on here where I'm like, that's a sad banger. That's a sad introspective song. That's a sad, beautiful song. Like, there's the theme of grief and sadness and pain very heavily, but not like Mount Erie pain.
Yeah.
Like, still gorgeous songs. I seen him live and it was incredible. Like, he's completely, I think another reason why it's number one is he went from someone that was not on my radar whatsoever, I could honestly care less, to being like insane. And now he's been dropping a single every week.
Yeah.
All been fucking incredible. Like, yeah, I could go on for hours. It easily became my album of the year months ago, and I haven't stopped listening to it, and I love it.
Excellent.
Can I guess yours now?
Of course. Because I'm pretty sure I've said it time and time again.
Yeah, I feel like we both know. Russ, I can't remember what was the album called. It's Russ, right?
Yeah, it's Russ.
Yeah, all right.
No.
Talk about Russ.
Oh, Jesus, can you imagine?
I can. Yeah.
Oh, come on.
All right, folks, we're done. That was... I just want to take this away from you, because all I've heard all year, Pusha T, Daytona, Pusher T. It's weird. You're always like, Pusher T.
Yeah, I call him
Daytona.
Pusher T. No, so my album of the year with a solid 10 out of 10.
I cannot back that. I appreciate your enthusiasm. Mine wasn't even a 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
You're being hyperbolic.
Well, I'd say it's hyperbolic, but every song is good on this album. Every song stands out to me. Every song is good. It's only 7 songs long.
Oh, I'm aware.
It's this album just did something to me this year, and
ruined you forever.
And I did a lot of thinking about this, and I realized why I love this album so much.
Because you were going through so much, and it made you feel like a god.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Literally is what it was, because I was in such a weak spot that because this is a sharp album. It is quick. It is to the point. It is exactly what you expect out of a guy like Pusha T. It's a lot of bragging, a lot of songs about cocaine.
Interesting.
Interesting.
Change of pace for him.
And just some of the honest to God most fire verses and just songs that have come out this year. It is the best sounding project.
Does this just say album of the year in the middle of it?
Yeah.
Did you get to a point and you're like, fuck.
Yeah, because I was listening to it and I was just like, yeah, we already know what this is.
Yeah, we've known for months.
It's just something where it made me literally feel like such a strong God when I would listen to this album. And I think in a way that's why we as men are so drawn to rap music sometimes, is because it's big, it's tough sounding. It makes you feel tough in a way when you listen to it. But this was an album that came out at the very end of May. It was the first one that came out in the releases, and I was in such a dark place at the time that an album just about bragging and being fantastic and just how much better you are than everyone else.
Oh, yeah.
And like just how
everybody hates those ones.
Yeah, and it's like just everything about this album, it played to this sense of like, this is how I want to feel. Like, this is how I want to feel all the time. Like, I want to feel this strong. I want to feel this overall encompassing and powerful. And Pusha T's been known for taking his time in between releases. You know, It's been 3 years, and we've been promised King Push for how long, and it still hasn't come out. You know,
I know.
But this right off the bat, if you know, you know, that is a fantastic overall song.
That's really the one I took from
the Games We Play has just one of those fantastic head nodding beats that you can get along to. I love that video Tyler took of, it was like 2 months after the album came out, and they're like, what are you listening to Tyler? And it's just the Games We Play, and he's like, ah, just laughing into the camera. Hard Piano, the third track with the Rick Ross feature, one of my top songs of the year, and on my most played of Spotify 2018, like my top songs, it was number 2.
Yeah, behind Kevin Gates.
Yeah, right behind Kevin Gates. Change Lanes by Kevin Gates, and then Hard Piano by Pusha T. That song in general is just the piano hook is so catchy. It's got the legendary, I think his name is the legendary Tony Williams. He's been on like a lot of Kanye.
Charlie Williams?
No, not Charlie Williams. It's like I forget. I'll have to look it up. But
Dave Williams?
Yeah, Dave Williams,
the owner of Wendy's.
Yeah,
Dave Williams.
Yeah, it was Dave Williams singing a beautiful chorus. Because that's where the kings go.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember Dave.
And then it's got everything on there. It's got Santeria. It's got What Would Meek Do with the Kanye feature, which in the Kanye
and
feature,
that got a 10. Yeah, Kanye's feature got a 10.
No, just that Push's verse on that song makes that song a 10. Jesus, that goes so fucking hard in the bank.
Kanye was tweeting all crazy last night, Meek tweeted, "What would Meek do?"
Yeah. And then Infrared, the album closer, is just a dig at everybody that's ever tried to take anything from Pusha T in general. He talks shit on Drake. He talks shit on Baby. He talks shit on pretty much anybody that's ever done him wrong on Infrared. And it's just one of those things where it's like 23 minutes long. Yeah. So it's one of those things where you can, much like the Tierra Whack album, you can listen to it several times in an hour and still find enjoyment all the way through. You know, I still this is one of the few albums that came out this year where I still listen to it all the way through. Like, I'll listen to songs separately because I'll have moments where I'm drunk as shit and I just get hooked on hard piano and I just listen to it over and over and over. But I will find myself after a minute, like if I hear another one come on, like if What Would Meek Do comes up on my shuffle, I just throw the album on and start from the very beginning because I'm like, I know I'm going to enjoy this. There's not a single song I'm not going to like. It's just very, very strong. If you are somebody who is really into the rap shit like we are, Daytona is going to be a very strong album for you to listen to. And it's like I said, if you're
into rap, you should have already heard Daytona.
Yeah, it's everywhere. Everyone was talking about it this year. If you haven't listened to Daytona, I'm very surprised, but I cannot sing the praises of this particular album enough, just because this was the one album that I know I played the most this year. Whenever I was out driving and doing shit this summer, threw on Daytona. Didn't know what else to listen to. Threw on Daytona. Feeling weak. Throw on Daytona.
Feeling strong.
Feeling strong.
Throw on Russ.
Feeling strong. Want to get extra strong? Daytona. Throw on some Daytona. So
this is definitely in my honorable mentions. It became so much of a meme that it took away from me.
It did a little bit, yeah.
I understand now that you genuinely, truly enjoy this, but there is an undeniable amount of people online that enjoy this because of the meme of it and fuck Drake. Yeah. And when there's that, like, I'm fine with a little beef. It was interesting.
It did get drawn out too long. It was too much.
But yeah, when there's something like that takes away from the album that much and it becomes like a thing that people just use as like I don't like Drake, so I like this album.
Yeah, and that's not why I'm about it.
And that's what I mean for you. But for me, that took away from it. I also feel like it's boring, honestly. I think the beats are incredible. It has its moments. I love If You Know, You Know. But I feel like there's so many like old Push projects, like Suicide by Push is like my favorite Push song because the beat is insane and I feel like he used to be more experimental. Yeah. So when looking back at previous albums like Snitch, that whole concept of like the acronym of that is insane. He's got on that same album, I can never think of the song, but it's like a Mace sounding song, and then he's got like numbers on the board, like that type of like more experimental.
And he had
shit.
a Tyler feature back in the day before Tyler.
Trouble on My Mind.
Yeah, Trouble on My Mind is so good. That album has Alone in Vegas too, which is one of the best Push beats
that's
ever.
My favorite Push song.
Yeah,
but that's what I mean. That's why I'm glad he's the president of Good Music. I think that's why Valet's on Good Music. He keeps his eye open. That's who got Chief Keef with the remix. He keeps his eyes out there. He knows what he's talking about. But I feel like I like him doing more. You know what I mean? This feels like in a certain category. All the songs are fairly similar. The beats are good. It is what you expect because he does constantly rap about selling cocaine.
Yeah, and we get it. That's why you're King Push.
That's
we
why
understand.
I like when it's more like crazy beats or like it changed up more. It is a good project. I like it, but I feel like I prefer old Push.
And I'm not saying that I don't prefer old Push, but if we're talking about just things that came like an album of the year for me, it's just definitely this, because this is sonically, lyrically, emotionally, everything that I needed this year is represented by Daytona. If you want to understand my growth as a person this year, listen to Daytona.
Well, that's what, yeah, again, I want to emphasize these are our personal lists, because that's like, this isn't us trying to impress someone or go along with
this isn't like clout chasing. This is just what we like.
Yeah, these are what we personally think are the best albums. That's what I think we have probably the most vastly different list personally. You know what I mean? You've got Pig Destroyer, and then you've got Pusha T. Yeah. I've got Sorority Noise and Valet. You know what I mean? These are just what we genuinely enjoy, and we don't need anyone to. Our minds aren't going to change.
No,
you cannot. If I will pay you $100 if you can convince Slim that any album is better than Daytona.
I'll give you a hint. You fucking can't.
Yeah, I will give you more than
fucking
$100.
Cannot. You know what? $1,000 to anyone.
$1,000
to anyone who convinced me that there's a better album this year than Daytona. I'll put it out on the table right now.
Yeah. So this is just personal opinions. Again, we hope that you take something from it. Check it out. We tried to suggest songs, so even just, peeking at a couple songs, I think there's some albums that definitely require a listen through. But try it out, see what you like. We have, like I said, a bunch of different shit. It's probably primarily rap, but there's a lot of other shit in there. So yeah, we do this so people can
broaden their taste a little bit, get a little feel for who we are.
And like we said, if you think there's something that you just can't believe isn't on our list, throw it at us.
We'll listen to it.
I've been listening to a lot of shit that's on lists because I love this shit, and I hope to find something. I listened to some fucking Japanese death metal the other day.
Yeah.
I didn't find it very good, but it was rated very high and was on a bunch of end lists. So I check things out just to see, because I found things from your end list that I might have overlooked or missed and whatnot. But yeah, this is just for you guys. We want to do rapid fire honorable mentions because I think this episode is godly long.
Yeah, why don't you just go ahead and list yours off, because I'm probably going to agree with
I don't even have a list. I want to say Oxnard.
Oxnard's good.
Underwhelming. Love Anderson .Paak. Wanted More. Still a good album.
Sci-Hi the Prince. Waited too damn long for it. Very, very good album. It's got that Travis Scott feature, I'm Fine. It's got the Kanye West, that side. Very good songs, but once again, it's like if Jay Electronica dropped something now, it wouldn't be as big or good, you know?
Vince Staples, FM, I thought was really good.
Yeah, FM was very good.
Not great. Another one of those.
I don't know, man.
The Metro Boomin album, I think, was really
very good,
too,
but not worthy.
That's what we talked about before.
Yeah.
There's a lot of albums that came out this year that are good, but just weren't great. This was overpopulated year.
And when you check out our end of the year playlist for our songs of the year, you're gonna find there's gonna be some songs from these projects.
But
overall, it's gonna be a lot broader sense of what we really listen to.
I also like the Earl album.
Yeah, the Earl album's good. It's growing on me.
It is what it is. It's not. It's very specific.
It's nothing perfect.
Yeah, folks, that's it. Our top 10. Tell us what you think. Give us suggestions. Don't give a shit. Fuck you. Bye.